a party on the radio. Happer and Schaefer. Happer and Schaefer. Happer and wow, Schaefer. It's Connor and Mike. Yeah. Happer and Schaefer. Happer and Schaefer. Happer and wow, Schaefer. It's Connor and Mike.
Good morning. Good morning and welcome in. Happy Thursday. It is Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, the Zone Radio Network. Connor Happer, Mike Schaefer, Joey Warcola with you on this 2nd of July. Topic alert day for those familiar. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Connor, and good morning, Mike.
Oh,
Good morning, Joey, and good morning, Connor.
Oh, are there topics today?
There sure are.
What a day.
It's a day for some. It was a day for others.
It was a day of national championship high school baseball for some.
That is
Yes.
correct.
Yes.
The Nebraska team
Shout out to that.
was booting the ball around a little bit last
Mm.
night, and
Got to tighten up the defense.
got to tighten it up a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You don't want to drop 2 in the prelim round. So if you drop 2, you're pretty much done. That's what I'm worried about now with Team Nebraska. But you guys don't need my high school baseball analysis. We need Joey's analysis on the Jalen Brown trade.
let's talk about high school baseball.
Disaster.
Many people that I came across or heard yesterday said they were anxious to hear how Joey was doing.
Good. We're going to play the hits.
leading into this Jalen Brown trade. Now he has Paul George. There was people
God,
wondering
no.
if he would like to go back in time and had Giannis instead of Paul George.
That's interesting.
I'm still going with my stance that they did not need to make a trade happen. He still had 2 to 3 years on his contract.
Well, apparently they did. They traded him for a box of chocolates.
Basically,
That's crazy. I mean,
making Nico
I think
Harrison
there
look
might
like a
be
genius.
More value in the box of chocolate.
there might be, because you at least don't know what you're going to get in a box of chocolates. In a Paul George,
Well-
you do. He's an old, decrepit man.
I don't know what they were thinking.
He hasn't played more than like 50 games in like 100 years.
Well, he was suspended for most of the season due to drug. I think I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it was
Is he on PEDs?
PEDs or something like that.
Woof.
The NBA has PEDs?
Apparently. Paul George has played more than 56 games one time since 2019.
I don't even need to look at the stats again for Paul George in that series against the New York Knicks after beating the Celtics in that 7-game series.
Paul George is going into his
horrible.
age 36
oh
season.
my goodness.
It also seems weird they traded Jalen Brown to like a team that you're likely to play in the playoffs.
I know.
And now they made that team the best in the East. I think they are the team to beat in the Eastern Conference.
Now they might get LeBron.
Is LeBron talking about the 76ers?
I just,
No.
He wants to go to a contender.
I've seen this and
Wow.
I've heard about this. Maybe LeBron is the Philly is an attractive destination now. Although he's more of a warm weather guy at
Yeah.
this stage of his career. He likes to play golf now. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
No, I haven't seen that.
I have not.
He loves golf. Every time he does Instagram, he's golfing.
That's what I would do if I was in the prime of my life and had endless amounts of
Well,
money.
he does this thing where he like goes through these sort of like our dear friend Matt McMaster. Like he just kind of goes through these
Sure.
phases.
He's sampling.
He had a wine phase.
Yeah.
And now he has a golf phase. So I don't know what his next phase is, but the golf one's about to probably expire.
He's probably
soon.
going to own a team at some
I've
point.
had a wine phase and a golf phase in my life, and I would like to think I'm still in both phases.
The wine phase and the golf phase are good. And once you pick it up, you're it's there for life. But he's hitting it really hard right now. He's hitting the golf one, He was hitting the wine one, now he's hitting the golf one pretty hard. So maybe he's a Sixer next year playing with Jalen Brown.
I feel like if he goes to Olden State thinking that it's going to be like warm, that's that's probably not going to
That-
go how
No,
that
it's
could be
not gonna
funny.
Go well.
It is in the state of California.
It is, but it's a real misnomer if you're going there for sun and heat.
I've been there in the month of October before, and let me tell you, it was beautiful.
Yeah, no, the fall is when you want to be in the Bay Area.
It was tremendous.
The July is apparently the month you want to avoid.
Is it extremely hot?
Well, you talk to Brunts and you get these 70-degree days, and then it drops to like 50s at night with the wind howling off the bay and people walking around in parkas.
That's awesome.
So it's just a very different.
Can't play
summer
golf in
climate
that.
than you would
LeBron
imagine.
can't play golf in that. Debo writes in, Baylor needs a serviceable backup. This trade makes sense. I agree. And that's what Paul George is there.
Paul
to bring.
George, 2 first-rounders and 2 second-rounders.
Yeah,
The
picks-
Knicks traded 4 first-rounders for Mikal Bridges, who is on a different level than what Jaylen Brown is. This is a horrible trade.
So just to be clear here, Joe, you have not found the silver lining in this trade yet? Because I was looking forward to your opinion today because I figured you were going to have some sort of absolutely whack job spin on it. But it appears as if you don't. Is this true?
I'm trying to be careful with what I want to say because I'm infuriated with everything that's happened for the last few years. The whole splitting Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown.
How about this?
It'll
Brad Stevens, are you in there? Do you exist anymore? Do you have a brain? What's going on?
Yeah, him buying into that agenda was the last straw.
Wait, what agenda?
Well, just splitting Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. This has been going on for several years.
Is there a world where
clearly-
this had to happen?
Yeah, I mean, clearly they don't. They think that Jaylen Brown is kind of like a malcontent and just wasn't going to be a South. Like that's clearly what.
Feels like a Stephon Diggs.
That's
thing.
why you trade him for like 55 cents on the dollar. Like
he hasn't said anything bad about the franchise. He's done a lot for the city.
But clearly something's going on behind the scenes here.
Yeah, who knows what that
I mean,
is.
it feels like the Stephon Diggs situation.
I'm seeing reports that he did not request any sort of trade this offseason at all. I think things ignited when he went on to Twitch after blowing the 3-1 lead, saying this was his favorite season, and then I think that caused a lot of people to be upset from particular networks. Then went on to the franchise, and then it led to this point. But it honestly started with the whole whose team it is between Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, and I've been on the side of why can't these guys coexist together? They complement each other well, and they've done so great.
Maybe
Six
can't.
conference finals appearances, 2 NBA finals, one of the best franchises in the decade.
Bill Simmons did not get his dinner that he requested.
No, he did
No
not.
sit
the other
down.
night. I also scrolled the Bill Simmons podcast feed this morning, and you know what I found? Nothing. I found a podcast from Sunday. I said, "What the hell is going on? I need a Bill Simmons freakout pod." He recently ranked the Paul George contract as they did like a worst draft in the NBA contract. They picked the Paul George contract number 2. So not only did they trade for old decrepit Paul George, they traded for his horrific contract as well for a player that they
Yes.
didn't want to trade for Giannis 2 weeks ago. This is the best possible result
Maybe
that I
they'll,
ever could
and
have
there's
imagined.
a good
For
amount.
Bill Simmons podcast.
There's a good
and we did not get a Bill Simmons podcast.
And there's a good amount of
Ridiculous.
fans that did not want to trade Jaylen Brown at all and just want to build pieces around those two like they did with their previous championship run when they got Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, and then Derek White, who's still on the team. That's what I wanted them to do, or at least play out this season to see where things are at, see what Jaylen Brown, how Jaylen Brown is feeling after the offseason. There's plenty of years left on the contract. I think that would have been the better outcome to just let it play out and see what happens. If he's not happy and if he wants to be
I disagree,
traded,
Joey. This is the
let it
best
happen.
outcome. I am okay with this outcome.
oh, you don't like the Celtics. I totally get it.
Absolutely.
That's why it's the best outcome for you.
And more than anything, I would say that when people do crazy things, which happens like probably once or twice a year in the NBA, there's a crazy trade or a crazy pickup. Like, what is that GM thinking and what's going on here? It always is fun to me because it always means there's like some big story that's coming out next about Jaylen Brown's time with the Celtics or something like that. I'm very excited to see what the next step is and what the like course correct is for the Celtics, because they're going to have to explain this.
Well, yeah, Brad Stevens and then their new owner Bill Chasm, which not a good start for him. Not a really good start after acquiring the team early this year.
I don't think their valuation changed because they traded Jaylen Brown, so he probably doesn't care that much.
That's true.
But I'm wondering, do you think the Bill Simmons podcast about the Jaylen Brown trade is like right next to the Bill Simmons deep dive on Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel?
It's, I mean, there's some all-time.
That was noticeably a thing that never happened.
No, I do think we will get a Jaylen Brown
that
podcast.
Is way more likely.
It will have some crazy spin of some sort, and I cannot, because he dug himself a little bit of a hole. I can't wait to see what the spin is.
Right now, the like crazy spin is pretending like they shouldn't have just went after Giannis all along if you were going to move
exactly
Jaylen Brown.
Interesting.
So any sort of a spin is just built off of the idea that you didn't trade for a generational talent because of some guy named Hugo
or Baylor.
I don't think Baylor was as big.
Or they did not need to buy in what others says about the franchise and just don't do anything at all. Oh yeah, they
clearly bought something.
They bought in, and that.
Are you putting this on Stephen A. Smith, Joey? Is this what we're building to?
I said basketball wizards.
So you are
that they know what's best for the team.
You are pitting this on Stephen A. Smith?
No, not exactly on him.
Okay, but you're concerned that they
the years long discourse on those two, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, whose team is which, and just the whole splitting those guys up. That conversation's been happening since before they won the NBA Finals. Before they made their first NBA
Finals. That'd be funny
if
we get this expose afterwards and it's like, yeah, Brad Stevens watches First Take every day. And
the Celtics' new owner would constantly call Stephen A. Smith for advice on how to run his team.
And all he had been hearing for months and months and months is
Brown
and Jason Tatum can't play together.
I just can't wait for that same conversation to go for the Philadelphia 76ers. Whose team's which? Is that Joel Embiid? Is that Tyrese Maxey?
Oh, yeah.
Is that Jaylen Brown? I want to see that happen when that new era of basketball starts for the Sixers.
They traded him to the 76ers.
I know,
it really just doesn't make sense.
Like,
just don't trade him. That's what I wanted.
If you're going to trade him, you at least send him to the Western Conference where you're not going to experience him.
Yeah, all these people have been wanting to go to Sacramento lately.
Yeah.
Why did they trade him there?
Let Jaylen Brown go to Sacramento.
What did they do?
I think it was Portland they were looking at.
Light the lamp, or what was it? Light the beam. That's what they were doing a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah. That sounds right.
Wasn't that when you were kind of a Kings fan and you were excited about the beam and the lighting of the beam?
I don't think I was excited about the beam so much as I like the idea of the Kings being relevant for the first time in 20 years.
I like the Kings.
That was that 3-4 years ago. It was like Kevin Herter. Who else would have been?
DeMontis Sabonis. De'Aaron Fox was on that team.
What it was is I like Sabonis.
One of them, I think Keegan Murray was on that team.
Yeah.
They were a 3 seed and they had to face the Warriors in that first round and lost in 7.
It was a good series.
Yeah, great series. Then
really
Draymond Green went off in Game 7.
Yeah. No, I definitely
got
50. I'm rooting for Sacramento out of just like, hey, I remember Mike Bibby and Doug Christie and Chris Webber and Peja Stojakovic.
And how they got screwed in the Western Conference Finals.
They definitely did.
They got hosed by the referees.
But I was very anti-Lakers. So basically the Trailblazers got screwed. The Kings got screwed.
That one is widely accepted, though, as that was a screw job.
Yeah, well, it's sort of hard to argue against it.
There's a lot of evidence that points that way. For the record, I am excited about whatever disaster comes out of this Philly thing that you just described as well, Joey. So I can't wait. Like,
know they're not going to maximize
any team with Joel Embiid playing 4 games a year is going to be hilarious.
Game of the Celtics here. It's like, hey, we'll give you more talent only to watch it blow up in your face.
That is a possibility. And maybe Brad Stevens is playing 3D chess after all. He's giving the 76ers the most talent they could possibly get, an opportunity to potentially get LeBron James. Also, they can flame out in like Game 4 of the Western Conference semifinals or the Eastern Conference semifinals. I cannot wait.
We never got a chance to talk about it yesterday, but Kawhi Leonard is being traded.
He is back to the Raptors.
He's like, Kawhi's still a big deal I can't tell anymore. Like, I don't know who's like good in the NBA or because guys get traded for these multiple first round picks 5 years from now. And it's like, is that pick going to have any value?
No,
Yeah,
picks don't mean anything except for trade value.
And that's what I'm looking at for the Celtics trade, because I think the first round picks they got, one of them's for 2028 and then the other one's for 2031. Then you get the second rounds in between.
I think picks are like monopoly money. Like
Yeah.
you want to have monopoly money, but it doesn't actually mean anything.
No, it
Are
doesn't.
the Raptors a viable contender with adding Kawhi?
Yeah, they would.
They were like
they were in the playoffs this previous year, and they went to 7 games with the Cavs.
Right, in the first round.
They had Scotty Barnes. I think they traded away Brandon. I think they traded away Brandon Ingram and Grady Dick to the Clippers.
Yeah, it feels like
And then I think a draft
for a
pick.
guy in Kawhi Leonard that I just can't imagine he's that.
He made a shell tree company. They still have to.
He was involved in it. I don't know that he was made the aspiration.
We'll see.
Or whatever
We'll
that
see
was.
what the
There's that
investigation
whole story,
says.
which just kind of has gone away.
I am so excited to see the result of that.
What a weird league.
It is a very weird league.
Not for me, but
I'm
when
a
the
little-
games are on, I enjoy it.
I'm a little disappointed that he's not on the Clippers anymore because I like making fun of the Clippers because they're all
gone now.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Including Paul George.
They never won a single thing. And the idea that they were all going to force their way out of their situation, go and play for the Clippers and win anything and ever. They only played like 4 games together ever. And they never won a single thing. It was the most predictable thing of all time. I laughed and laughed and laughed when it all happened. And now it's over. So I'm kind of sad.
Closest they got was to the Western Conference Finals in 2021 against the Phoenix Suns, and lost that, I think, in 6. That was the closest they got, and since then they just did absolutely nothing.
Yeah, because they're
the Clippers.
They base their franchise off of players that don't play.
You got to be built off of something, I guess.
I'd rather be based off of players that do play.
The thing that's amazing is that they were just good enough that you could hover around being like the 6th team in the West.
Oh yeah, sure.
Never have a chance.
You can make the playoffs without even breathing.
I mean, in that conference, making the playoffs is actually relatively respectable.
I mean, they're not really. I mean, the teams that don't make the playoffs aren't really trying in the West. Either aren't trying or having difficulty consistently trying when they do try. You know, they're not very good at when they try.
That's fine.
They're just better off not trying, probably, and being the after runs of the league.
The West goes at least like 6 deep of teams.
Right? Yeah.
So Clippers were somewhere. What did they finish this year?
I mean, you do have to have 8.
They were in the play-in.
Yeah, that's right.
They I don't think they made it to the playoffs, or
I couldn't remember.
Or they might have been the 8th seed. I don't know. I don't remember. They were near the bottom.
Don't worry about it again in April when it returns for its 3-month-long playoff.
Anyway, I am very, very, very excited. D'Lo writes in, rundown, 7:30, Tim Legler, 8:15, Brian Windhorse. Actually, D'Lo, we don't need it because we have Joey.
Yeah,
and my, like, at least 6 months aged NBA takes.
There we go.
I am, and Schaefer's probably more than age that.
Oh,
NBA
definitely.
takes. Yeah.
Like, what, 2018?
Yeah.
I don't know who any of these.
You've had some early 2000s references already in this segment. This is absolutely fantastic. So if I see any good Celtics spin, I will pass it along, Joey, your direction, and then you can figure out if you want to subscribe to it or not. Does that sound like a good idea?
That's a good idea. I already got Mike Conley and Mitchell Robinson. And Paul George. So this will
a team.
This will be a roller coaster ride.
What a team. I'm very excited.
I'm excited for Tatum's MVP season.
Today, coming up on the show, it is Thursday. It is the final day before we take a little bit of an extended weekend here at 1620 The Zone, and we have more bits to steal. We have our bits to steal from ourselves. I have an opinion coming up at 8 o'clock. Get in your opinions any way you'd like to get in touch with the show. 402-951-1620 on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline. Call or text that number. Tweeted us at HappenSchafe, at Connor Happer, at Mike J. Schaefer on the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. Email Connor, Mike, or Joey at 1620thezone.com on the Equitable Bank Zone inbox. And we say good morning to our YouTube streamers this morning, where Debo's out here giving us Kawhi stats. Kawhi had a good year.
Yeah. He had a great season. They started out really bad, and they finished their last 50 some games like 36-17. to get to the play-in spot, and then they fell apart.
Something
pretty
like
much.
36 and 17.
Yeah, they had a great second half of the season that got them to
That's a
It's a
simple stat.
BC. That's a BC.
It's a simple BC,
Yeah.
that tree.
Yeah.
Joey, good to see that Joey's in it.
I didn't know Joey was part of that tree.
Something
but
like
now
36
that I know,
and
I respect.
17.
Well, I remember seeing that trend. I remember seeing that trend when they were on the rise, and then once I saw that, then
It's
They
not that
didn't
you were doubting the knowledge of it. It's saying something like, and then giving us the
Very
number to add to
specific.
53.
Something like
that's-
13,184 yards. Something.
Just to recap, in the East, Giannis is with the Heat now.
Good job.
The 76ers added Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
The Raptors have added Kawhi Leonard.
That's right.
The Celtics added Paul George
Exciting.
and Mitchell Robinson, I guess. if
and
that's
Mike
okay.
Conley.
And
They're-
old
they're-
Mike
they're-
Conley.
I'm
they're
leaving
getting
Mike
old.
Conley off. He doesn't
Their
get-
average
he doesn't
age
get
is
to be a part.
42.
And then the Cavs are about to add LeBron. That's the
And
East
the
is getting
Hornets,
better.
my Hornets ditched LaMelo Ball and Miles
Is
Bridges.
that an addition by subtraction?
Yes.
Okay.
And they have Con Knipple. It's Con Knipple time, people are saying.
It's Con and Hans and Kalk.
Exactly. Watch out.
Yeah.
They're coming.
Con Hans Kalk.
The space is open in the East, it seems.
The East is well, and then
It's-
have the Pistons gotten better? They were the one.
I know Jalen Duren is asking for a trade. He wants to go to the Celtics. So I wonder if the Pistons are willing to take in Paul George's contract and a bunch of those draft picks. I'm willing to take Jalen Duren
I
now.
don't think you can flip Paul George.
So the
for
Pistons are going to
Jalen
go from the
Duren.
one seed.
The
to just
Pistons are a
taking
win
Paul
are a
George.
win now franchise, and Paul George is the perfect guy for that type of a franchise. You want Paul George? He's for sale.
Would you like to take a giant wreck of a contract for a guy who will play 42 games next year? Here you go.
Be my
You
guest.
were the one seed.
You-
This will definitely get you.
you
to the
need
Eastern
someone to
Conference
fit-
Final.
You need someone to fill in Tobias Harris' shoes since he's gone. Paul George is the guy for you, another former 76er. There you go.
All exciting options for your for the Detroit Pistons. Also, Brian Christopherson and Max Olson will join us
Simple
today,
man.
as we do on Thursdays. We'll have what's for lunch. We'll see what other bits. I got a suggestion yesterday from a listener that suggested that we should steal a bit from a different radio station
Oh,
Whoa.
okay.
on a show that happens in Lincoln at the same time. Our dear friend Young Jake.
All right, I like it.
Which one would it be, and which one will it be, and will we do it at all? I don't know.
Are we going to yell FDIC?
That a bit that they do?
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome.
It's at the end of one of their sponsored reads. It's member, and then you get Bill Bush really loudly in the background. FDIC.
Well, I mean, we'd have to. I'm sure. Well, I guess I don't want to incorrectly guess if anybody is member FDIC or not.
Well, if you're, if John's doing the Union Bank read for unsportsmanlike content,
Yeah,
they
there you
can
go.
say member FDIC.
There you go.
So that would work.
Okay, that's
We were saying it at the Omaha Baseball Village, and I thought about Bill Bush literally every time.
wow, exciting. All right, let's take a quick break. We're off and running. Come back and we'll ask the real question. Are we good at soccer, and how much does the world hate us? After this on 1620 The Zone.
Good luck with that, Dan.
The United States of America will celebrate its 250th birthday this weekend, and it might be celebrating it the most American way possible, which is stealing other countries' stuff and saying we're the best at it, and then actually being the best at it. I am excited about this because that's right, folks. America is a soccer power, and we're moving on to the round of 16.
Do you feel good that they didn't embarrass themselves? They have conducted themselves.
To be very clear, this was the match that I was concerned about because it had all the makings.
Sure.
You were supposed to win. You know, you have this.
Not just win, kind of.
Yeah.
Not dominates hard in soccer, but like it shouldn't.
It was
be
supposed to be pretty
problematic.
convincing. Yeah. And it was.
Yeah, I mean,
for the most part.
I didn't get to see much of the first half, but I don't think there was like a whole lot of moments where it's like, oh no,
there were some tense moments.
Definitely tense moments.
It was a soccer game, you know, but that's just sort of how they work. But they answered the bell and did not absolutely stub their toe in the round of 32 against Bosnia-Herzegovina and advanced to the round of 16 against Belgium next Monday. And people are starting to wonder, are we good at soccer? We are playing, America, my Americans, we are playing extremely well. Maybe if you did it if you looked across the entire field, maybe about as well and as consistent as just about anybody outside of that weird game against Turkey where we didn't play our starters.
No, I mean,
we're back.
They have definitely shown well in the 4 games so far. This was sort of, again, they've reached a level where I think it was reasonable to expect that they would be at. Now they have a huge test with Belgium, who is one of those countries that is way more talented, or at least in terms of like where their top guys are playing relative to the United States.
Yeah, but now the pressure's kind of
Sure.
off, right? I mean, because this is the exact spot that everyone told me at the beginning of this tournament. They said if they get here, it's all cake after this.
Right. But you're now here, so it's more than just cake. Like that's always
It's like Nebraska playing Iowa in the Sweet 16.
It's to an extent, but it's basically you're like at this point, and you've been at this point before, and they only have one win in the round of 16 ever, and it was in 2002, and I think South Korea against Mexico, and that's the only time they've reached the quarterfinals. Then they played Germany and lost, and you have an opportunity against a Belgium team that frankly shouldn't even be here. They're down 2-0 in the 80th minute against Senegal, and they get 2 goals in that stretch to tie it up.
I know.
And then they get a Joey. I wasn't able to watch. Was it a penalty at the end of
at the
like 120th minute?
Yeah,
and then I heard people claim that the penalty was kind of light.
I looked over at the computer screen that was on where I was doing these high school baseball games yesterday, and it said like minute 130 something in this Belgium and Senegal situation. I was like, "What is going on?" I didn't know this happened.
It happened at that time, and they spent like 5 minutes reviewing it. That's why the time went literally close to 130 in overtime. That's how close it was for it to go to PKs at the very end.
It's wild too, because Senegal was playing really well, and it's like on one hand, Senegal's ranked lower. They're not near the power that Belgium has been recently. They don't have the players that are of the same,
they're not as much of a brand.
They don't have a Lukaku, they don't have a De Bruyne, they don't have all of these guys. So it's like, yeah, you'd rather play Senegal, but also Senegal looked really good. And then now you're getting a Belgium team coming off of just as miraculous win. Are they going to catch fire instead of just looking like the trash that they've looked through 4 games? I mean, they don't deserve to be where they are, and yet they're there and they have all this talent. So it's going to be a huge, huge game for the United States on Monday for a variety of reasons. This is also the team that took them out in the same round in 2014, where Tim Howard played maybe one of the greatest games for a United States goalkeeper ever.
Wow.
And it just wasn't enough. A guy named Chris Wondolowski missed
Wondolowski
would have been difficult.
Did he forget to turn in his TPS reports?
He failed. He failed. He had an opportunity to score in that game and did not get it done.
Here is how it sounded yesterday on Joey's favorite television station, Telemundo, when the U.S. scored.
This was an amazing goal.
Their second goal on a free kick
Tillman
to go ahead 2-0 in the game against Bosnia. Indeed.
That is such a good goal.
Mas importante.
Like really, really impressive.
Just perfect placement of the ball.
I mean,
the curl.
Really couldn't have drawn it better.
I love this idea, and you could see it in the fan shots there of the Americans that they showed. I love this idea that the rest of the world is watching this, and they're just all shaking their heads. They're all sitting in whatever country they're in right now, and they're saying, I've been watching soccer and loving soccer for my entire life, and the 2026 World Cup is exactly what I have really just built up my life to. And here comes America stomping in, and they're like, what? Why isn't football on in July? I guess I'll watch the U.S. team play soccer, and we're going to come in, and we're going to win. This is going to be awesome. The rest of the world has to be sick right now, watching the Americans have all this success. This is great.
I think they would need to go deeper for that to really be the underlying view from the rest of the world.
But the point is this. Yes, I was being a little facetious, but we have to be so annoying to other countries. There's no doubt about it.
There's definitely an air, and this is why I just can't stand English soccer, but there's this like air of old money that emanates from England that basically the United States is Al Cervic or whatever showing up at Bushwood Country Club.
Nice.
And England is Judge Schmales, and that's more or less what that relationship is like all the time.
Uh-huh.
and they love to be Judge Schmale.
They very much thumb up their
And
nose at us.
it just drives me nuts.
It's
They're
awesome.
not even good.
It's perfect.
Oh, they're good. Let me rephrase that. They're very good. They never win. They never actually go out and win the World Cup. And so a day like yesterday where they're losing to Congo, and you can just sense this would be absolute devastation to that country.
I know.
And I wanted it so bad.
You
It's
could
hard
just
to
smell it.
explain how much I want the country of England to feel miserable when their soccer team goes out and losing in the round of 32, a new fake creation of a round to Congo.
Could be funny.
When you have some of the highest paid players in the world on your roster, would have been absolutely amazing. But then Congo ran into Harry Kane, and Harry Kane was, remarkable.
He scored twice, sadly.
Yeah, he's very good.
Yes, this is exactly what I'm talking about. And guess what, England? So have we just set our sights on England? I mean, it's really everybody. I'm sure.
Well, so England now plays Mexico, and I don't know who I'm supposed to root for.
Absolutely, you're supposed to root for
Mexico's
Mexico. You're
Mexico's
supposed to
the
root for
biggest
Mexico.
rival the United States has. So.
No. You're supposed to root for Mexico. Mexico is our friend.
Mexico's fun.
I
It's
don't-
fun. It's fun to watch
I don't
them
think
play.
you understand the United States-Mexico soccer relationship.
No. They're cool. We're good with Mexico.
You do not understand the United States-Mexico soccer relationship.
I understand that I want the Brits to be sad.
I agree, and I would probably root for Mexico, but it feels wrong on every level. Those teams do not like each other.
That game is in Mexico City on
That
Sunday.
that environment.
It's going to be pretty nuts.
Absolutely.
Good luck
nuts.
playing at altitude.
Look, if they have to go on and win, if Mexico has to go on and win, at least I can, celebrate the loss of England.
Good question, Gus Mohawk. With Mexico playing England, which is better, refried beans or beans on toast?
Refried beans.
Agreed, completely.
Hey,
It's not even remotely
love
close.
refried
I like
beans,
refried beans too.
I mean, I like beans, so it's not like a hard.
Drop.
It's not a hard sell for me.
I mean, I like beans.
beans.
Sounds like you were about to rip off like a 5-minute segment on that. I mean, listen,
could.
I like beans.
I like
okay?
black beans.
When you go to Qdoba and get your burrito, what kind of beans?
Black beans for sure.
I get no beans. I like beans, but I don't want the beans on the burrito.
Why?
It's just it's just too much mush. That
Oh man, the texture added is great.
I'd rather add
Big
the
fan.
extra rice.
The rice is great.
I love the rice. But so we had a guy, Joey. We had a guy get a red card. What's going to happen there?
He's not going to play against Belgium.
Are we going to get?
He's one of our best players. It's
their best striker.
Can we
basically.
sorbet it and get an injunction?
No, you
No.
can't. You can't do it in the World Cup.
Damn it.
Unfortunately,
Doesn't matter if you find a sympathetic judge in an SEC county. It doesn't matter if Mike Pence has the courage. It just does not matter. Nothing can be done.
That is disappointing.
Yeah.
That is disappointing.
He's really good, and you're having to play Belgium without him. It's tough.
Get ready,
There's
world.
also, I don't know, Joey, you've watched more soccer than I do. A very, very, very weak red card. Like they went to replay to assess this red card. It wasn't even a call on the
it
field.
wasn't. It wasn't even on purpose. It was an accident. He wasn't. He did not know where
They did
the
thing
buzz.
that you hate, where they're using super slow motion to
You can
determine
you
something.
can convince yourself of anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
So-
That's what they were doing.
So I love in the World Cup that I've watched so far. I love when they show the VAR, the VAR room.
The VAR room.
It's
Yeah,
my favorite thing ever.
Yeah.
You have the screens and then the officials fully in official clothes, and one of them is sitting and two of them are standing, and they're just watching the screens and they're like not emoting like they're robots. It's so funny.
I would love to know in the production meeting of we'll cut to this, and it's like, what do you think it's going to look like? What do you want it to
It
look
adds
like?
to it.
Yeah.
It really adds to the wonder of the FIFA World Cup. Pedro writes in before we take a break. Hi guys, this American soccer team is young and talented, kind of like the Celtics before they traded Jaylen Brown.
Am I gonna have to deal with this all morning long?
To be fair, you kind of like.
I know. I know. I got myself into this
Strolled your way into it.
for not wanting Giannis for a good reasoning. I just did not want them to trade Jaylen Brown at all. That was my whole thing.
Now you got to deal with it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
unfortunately.
All right. Well, take a break. Be back after this on 1620 The Zone. Stay tuned. Later on, we'll have I Have an Opinion, actually about an hour away. So you could get your opinions in now, 402-951-1620 on the text line or on Twitter at Happen Schaefer, the Liquid Trucking Zone Twitter feed. We probably should do some Thursday shout-outs today for our friends at Liquid Trucking and things of that nature. So you can get those in as well. Get your opinions in about an hour, and Joey will select somebody that he deems fit to go to Ocon.
Well,
What?
I don't have access to what we use to put in winners.
Can you just take down some information?
Yeah.
Does that work?
Yeah, I can do
or
that.
should we cancel the Ocon?
No, we're not going to cancel the Ocon.
We would never cancel the Ocon.
We're not going to cancel that.
The Ocon contest.
I'm just trying to come up with a way to do
Yes.
things.
Ocon is not canceled.
No, we would never do that, like I said. And we are still going to try and give away the passes. Joey could just write down information the old-fashioned way. So if you'd like to win a pair of passes to the 3-day passes to the Ocon Expo, just send us your opinion right now, whichever way you'd like to get in touch with the show. The other thing that happened yesterday is this, as we knock out all of yesterday's news right here in hour number 1. So if you missed the 6 o'clock hour, then you are screwed on daily updates. The other thing that happened yesterday, of course, outside of the high school baseball national championships that were located here in Omaha, did you see those people climb the Empire State Building? Did you guys see that? How did I see?
I did, and
Okay.
I got to switch the headline.
What do you mean?
That
It
was
was one of his
that was
headlines.
my headline. That was one of my headlines.
Oh yeah, no. Did you? You did not.
Didn't see it.
Oh,
I did see it though.
Absolutely no idea that this.
really?
Yeah.
Okay, so when I say, are you surprised by when I say, did you see the two people climb the Empire State Building?
In the sense that I didn't know that it happened. I guess people climbing buildings doesn't surprise me.
Okay.
In a general.
So
sense.
let me add a couple things.
Was it a free climb?
We're talking about a couple here, a man
Yeah.
and a woman, and they not only climbed, because you can go to the top of the Empire State
Sure.
Building and they have an observation deck up there. They went to the top of the top of the. They went to the. You know how there's like an antenna on
Sure.
the top. They went all the way up there, and there's a little platform, and they brought a flag along with them. And I'll tell you what the flag says in a second. But the most notable thing that happened on top of the antenna of the Empire State Building is that the man proposed to the woman.
Okay. That's a lot happening.
I know.
So do you think when they got to the top of the top, one of them quoted Training Day and yelled the King Kong line?
Ooh, good one. King Kong ain't got nothing on me.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I would have
That's
gone
the
with
cable version of that line.
I would have gone with Aim for the Bushes.
Okay.
It'd be pretty fun. I like whenever I get to a high place, I look down, I'm like, Aim for the Bushes.
That'd be good. That'd be good. I was just thinking, the Empire State Building, King Kong, what you could reference there.
The two climbers, Angelina and Ivan, 33 and 32, they are self-proclaimed roof-toppers who climb, and that's kind of like lamp posters, who climb and pose atop the highest buildings without safety nets or permission. They were the subject of a 2024 Netflix documentary called Skywalkers, A Love Story. And they have decided to climb the Empire State Building yesterday. This is about the antenna the top of it is about 1,454 feet from the ground, while unfurling a banner that reads, when the power of love beats the love of power, the world knows peace. And then that sparked a whole bunch of social media posts yesterday of people erasing that message on the flag and putting their own thing on there.
As social media often does.
2 days ago, everybody was photoshopping LeBron James into whatever corporate outfit that you wanted to have him work in. And yesterday, it was deleting the words on that flag and turning it into the Big Ten flag. That is what the Big Ten conference did yesterday. They just put the Big Ten flag on there.
Wow.
Which I thought was sort of odd considering their rival conferences. It sounds like something straight out of the page of the SEC from about 3 years ago, which we do have to admit the Big Ten
a little
is
too north for the SEC.
The Big Ten is they're careening down the path.
I actually have a variety of questions here.
On the climbers?
Yes.
Okay. Let's see if I can.
Did they get
answer.
arrested?
Yes.
How often have they been arrested for doing this?
I believe a lot.
I have to assume the fines of which they would incur would be financially crippling.
I don't know. Maybe they have a fund. Maybe they have a building climbing
Because
fund.
as cool as it is, and it is cool, the amount of safety that you put at risk because you have this hobby that you want to do that's not legal at all.
It's very cool, though.
It is cool. But like I can't even imagine what the costs would be.
The woman took a selfie of after she got proposed to. You know, she did the classic like, "Here's my ring," and then took a selfie of herself. Of course, there was the New York police who were on scene right away. They responded at about 12:51 yesterday afternoon. In the footage, one of the responders was heard telling the climbers, "quote You can't be up here," before apprehending them.
He's got a point.
How did they get there? Nobody seems to know. I mean, obviously the answer is they climbed, but like, how did they get there undetected? Unclear.
Where do they start their ascent?
Unclear.
Okay. They just happened to, people didn't notice until they were halfway up or something?
They didn't notice until there was the sky cam footage of them on top of the antenna and he was proposing to her.
I have a lot of questions for these people. Joey, if you want them to be Wacky Guess Wednesday, the next bit week, we could do it.
That's going to be a year from now.
They might have a court date coming
we
up.
We might steal
future.
bits some other point. But
oh, yeah. We have another bit week coming. Don't worry. Don't worry. All right, that's all the news of yesterday. Now it's topic.
All of it.
Now it's topic alert day, ladies and gentlemen. 7:00 hour coming up next on Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone. All right, 7 o'clock here on Happer and Schaefer, 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, sending you off into your 4th of July weekend. Happy birthday, America. 250 years. That's an old-ass country. 250 years. Not compared to most countries, but for us, it seems old.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know anyone that's 250 years old.
Exactly.
So you can't go all the way back to the beginning.
Probably a shark or a tortoise. Who knows?
You think there's a tortoise who's 250?
Oh, man. If there was a tortoise that was that old, it would be so celebrated right now.
We got to find it.
That tortoise would be all over the internet. There would be like Good Morning America would invite the tortoise on for a segment.
Definitely.
Well, they would have like some sort of expert on talking about what tortoises eat and how they can live so long.
So there is a tortoise that is 194 years old.
Not quite.
So
is it an American tortoise?
I'm not too sure.
It's 194.
No, it's over at St. Helena, British overseas territory in the South Atlantic.
British.
So yeah, that tortoise would have been.
It was hatched in 1832.
Yeah. Wow. That's nuts.
Well, maybe we get something that's 100.
I hope that tortoise gets to see England lose in the World Cup.
Me too. I am excited about that. John writes in on the text line, are you going to be checking the texts or the emails for opinions today? Both. We're going to be checking them all.
Send us your opinion.
If you forgive me, sometimes I don't get to like every single correspondence that we get on this show, but I think I do get to most of them for I Have an Opinion. So get those in. Joey is ready to take down your information for Ocon, where you could potentially win a 3-day pass if Joey selects you out of the pack of opinions that we're getting today. So stay tuned for that. Also, Omaha Storm Chasers this week, they have a big America's 250th birthday celebration starting, of course, well, it's going on all week, but really tomorrow night, July 3rd is the Salute to America night. July 4th is Happy Birthday, America. The first time that Werner Park has hosted Storm Chasers games on the 3rd and the 4th. Usually it's the 3rd or the 4th. This year, for Omaha, it's the 3rd and the 4th. With a first pitch for 7:05 on both Friday and Saturday night. Go join the Storm Chasers, and you never know, you could be the 5,100,000th fan or something like that, and maybe Marty will blow off some streamers for you once you come in the door.
Cool.
That'd be awesome. Congratulations, you're a 5,100,000th fan.
That we should pitch that idea to Marty that they should celebrate a more random number. Just to do it.
Just to make people feel crazy when they walk in the door. What is going on? Why are there streamers going off right now? I think it's an interesting idea, Schaefer.
I do too.
I think it's a pretty good one. So join the Storm Chasers coming up this weekend. Speaking of things that are old, we talked a lot about conference realignment yesterday, and we failed. I apologize, because usually I do this on July 1st every year. We sort of go back and reevaluate. Each of our local schools have gone through a conference change over the last 15 years. And so happy anniversary to Nebraska in the Big Ten, July 1st, 2011, 15 years ago.
Good for them.
Happy anniversary to Omaha in the Summit League, July 1st, 2012, turning Division I a little bit before that. And Creighton to the Big East, July 1st, 2013. I could make the argument that Creighton, amongst all of the schools that have changed conferences over the years and been realigned to other, it may have worked out the best for Creighton over the last 13 years, which is kind of absurd. But like, you think about their profile, their university overall, and then obviously the success that they've had in the marquee sport in basketball, it's truly unbelievable. And I don't like, you'd have to come up with some examples for me. I can't think of a whole lot of other schools where it's worked out better, really, from top to bottom. The conference realignment, or sort of making a jump from low major to mid major to high major, like whatever it might be. I mean, TCU kind of comes to mind from their rise from where they
and
were into the Big 12.
in the same basic realm, SMU is completely
That's a good
fitting
one.
in at the power level
That's a good
without
one.
a problem. All the different teams that they have that are successful, both of those schools have like incredible donor bases and athletics are very important to them, and so having that backing makes it easier to be able to jump in at that level. Trying to think of because you have my brain kind of firing as to what other programs.
Obviously, it's been fine for.
Some of it is like Texas
and
is going to be
Oklahoma.
good wherever they're going to be.
Exactly.
So it's like,
and they went from a big dog to still a big dog, and like so. I guess I'm giving Creighton sort of extra credit a little bit because they went from the Valley to the Big East.
And I understood that going in because it's like Nebraska football hasn't done well, but volleyball continued its ascent and these other things.
Yeah, it's not like
volleyball was good. You could put volleyball in any conference in the country and it's going to be fine.
Part of the story for Nebraska in their moving to the Big Ten has been the story of football not having success over that period of time. I will also add this, and I think this is an important deal for Creighton's success and possibly Nebraska's lack of success. Nebraska is, and not like I said, not that Nebraska's had a lack of success, but just maybe less.
Yeah, they're coming out their greatest Directors Cup of all time. How dare you?
From a perception standpoint, I suppose they had to, and are sort of still having to, like, assimilate to a conference and to an identity and to a culture, and like it's maybe that's overblown a little bit. But in the case
I
of,
definitely don't think it was. I think they're beyond that now, but I would love to have this discussion.
In the case of Creighton, it was kind of a new conference. Yeah. Like there is, you took some core tenets of the Big East, how we knew it, but for the most part, it was a reborn conference. And I do think that really, really matters in, sort of developing what your league is about and what the perception of it is. National, like that's been able to create itself for the new Big East over the last 15 years, where the Big Ten, like it is what it is, and 15 years is a drop in the bucket,
right,
compared to all of these teams that have been around for decades and centuries.
Yeah, I would venture that the additions of the 4 Western teams, Maryland and Rutgers, so now you have Nebraska with that. So you've added 7 teams since they recently, or would have most recently added Penn State in the early 90s. That was the last addition to that conference. I mean, that has kind of helped change things a little bit because you have more of these other schools now. But when it was certainly just Nebraska, Maryland, and Rutgers, who no one really considered, like they were Big Ten schools in name only. It's kind of what it always felt like. There was definitely a different, I think, feel in that conference as a whole.
Agreed. Like, I think when
this is what we are, you're always going to be an outsider.
Well, that too. And the West Coast schools have come in, and they've come in with their friends, like they have, there is now a distinctively West Coast flavor to the Big Ten, which I don't know if it's not overpowering or overbearing or anything like that, but there is like a West Coast branch of the Big Ten Conference, which matters, I think, for those West Coast schools. Nebraska came in by itself and had to assimilate to a conference who had not changed in 20 plus years from when they joined in 2011. And really, Penn State was such a natural fit that it really was like it hasn't changed in decades and decades and decades, sort of before that. And so I think that mattered in Nebraska's, I don't know that it was like a rough landing, but it was maybe a little bit, turbulent at first. That in Nebraska itself was in a position of strength. Their football program was in a good spot at the time. And the perception and the national opinion was that Nebraska was going to, remember the Sports Illustrated cover or whatever it was, Nebraska, the Big Ten's new bully. That was sort of the thought. The rest of the conference probably didn't like that very much. And Nebraska, I think they felt that for the first several years that they were in the league.
I think one of the things that's most interesting when you look at Nebraska and the Big Ten is that since they've joined it, especially with football receding the way that it has, the two biggest sports in that conference are football and men's basketball. And Nebraska, up until recently, had been largely just terrible in men's basketball in Big Ten play. And so
They're
you
terrible.
had 2013-14, and you had 2017-18. Those would have been the two like big examples. They were fine in 2018-19 until the 3-year run here recently with Hoiberg.
Right.
Otherwise, if you're a Big Ten, if you've been in the Big Ten and you really care about football and basketball, and Nebraska joins and they get worse in football and they didn't bring anything to begin with in basketball, it's sort of hard to announce yourself to this conference if the things that you're best at are like bowling, air rifle, volleyball. You're going to be competitive in track and field, and wrestling has always been fun.
Yeah, the rest of the league is just like, okay.
Like,
I guess
apologies to those sports. The Big Ten doesn't care about them in the same way. Like even wrestling, where you have Penn State and Iowa, like it's big. I don't know that it's bigger than when they were in the Big 12 when it was Oklahoma State and Iowa State, in the same way. Now there's better conference or better teams in the Big Ten wrestling, and whoever, someone that's really into wrestling can correct me on this, but
there are wrestling.
It doesn't feel like that was a substantial thing either. It really just comes back to they haven't been good at football, and they're just recently starting to show up in basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And until that shifts, like there's always going to be that outsider perspective.
And the sports that Nebraska was sort of viewed to be, the other sports, I suppose, that Nebraska was viewed to be pretty good at. Obviously you have volleyball, who was really good at the time when they joined. I don't like the rest of the league has definitely come up a little bit, I think, in volleyball, but generally that was an okay volleyball league before Nebraska.
Yeah, I would have thought so. Wisconsin was good. Nebraska had run into them before, even being in the Big Ten. I don't know about like schools that have gotten better, like Indiana and Illinois and Purdue. Those have all seemed like Ohio State. I don't know if they were good at volleyball before Minnesota.
Yeah, Purdue's really consistent now.
But they're all for the most part, in the top 25 realm now.
And then there's the baseball conflict, which it's so fascinating. We talk about it every year in around May when the season's sort of wrapping up, the conference and their care level about baseball. These West Coast teams, as we talked about a lot around the time, when Nebraska was hosting a regional this year, these West Coast teams have really changed the league in baseball, I think, and they've given it some added oomph that it wasn't going to create by itself. Nebraska needed some friends in the Big Ten who care about baseball, at least a little bit compared to its other sports inside of its athletic department. And they now have that, which is good in UCLA, Oregon, USC, and I guess Washington. They can come along in that conversation too. But Nebraska had a really, really tough time. Not only because, like I said, this is the story. You're either so good that it doesn't matter, or you have to figure out how to win and crack this new code in this league. And for Nebraska in baseball, they weren't so good when they joined the league that it didn't matter. They weren't so good that they were able to just blow through it. They had to figure out how to win games in this conference, and it was in a bad spot.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's in like a tremendous spot right now, but these West Coast teams have sort of helped.
Definitely think it's helped out. I'm also now thinking about, is there a world where USC football undergoes a similar thing where Nebraska football did, where the expectation is that you're going to be this, and then they just never quite get there? Because their first two seasons in the Big Ten have been relatively uninspiring.
Yeah, they're fine.
This is a huge year for them. The expectation is that they have
what's the expectation?
I think the expectation is that they are on the doorstep, if not inside the college football playoff. Like they should be the fourth team.
Is that the general? That's you're talking about in general, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I
agree.
Your obvious three teams are Oregon, Ohio State, and Indiana in some order, whatever.
Are you talking about this year?
Yeah, just this year.
Okay. I was thinking sort of more global.
Global, I don't know what it is exactly for USC because they haven't been as good as you would think. They're in a very similar spot to where Nebraska was. USC has not recaptured any of the magic post Pete Carroll. They've cycled through multiple different coaches. they've never really threatened to win a national championship with any of those coaches. And so now you're at this spot where you have this team that in all accounts should be a college football playoff team or is right on that precipice of being one, is expected to be the 4th team in the Big Ten, in that spot last year where you were wondering who's it going to be amongst like, I don't know, it was like Illinois, Michigan, USC.
Yeah, the middle.
And then it turns out that it was actually Indiana all along. They were, and Penn State wasn't good, so they drop off.
It was always Indiana.
So it's just a huge year for them. They could find themselves in a similar kind of cycle, not bottoming the way that I think Nebraska did. They're just around too much talent, but they're in a really unique spot.
I just think their landing in the conference is just slightly less turbulent from. I mean,
that's not similar because, as you pointed out, you come in with Washington and Oregon and UCLA.
I think they're going to have a better
that
time.
helps with that. I'm just talking from we thought you were going to be this for football.
But that's kind of the story of USC football outside of the championship years. You know,
at least in our lifetime.
Yeah.
Like they were a lot better before you and I were born.
Yeah, they were great in the 70s.
The further we get from that like 6-year run, the more it kind of feels like
really good football program, not like national power, you know, what they did in the mid 2000s.
And it has all the makings of it should be. It's just they haven't been at that level.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff to sort of go along with that, and all the conferences changing. I think at the level that they have, at the rate that they have, has sort of, you know, made it harder or easier for some. Nebraska, I think, from a certain perspective, was, you know, like they were not that they wanted to be or it was a goal to. They made the right move. They made the move for what they wanted to do at the time, but they were one of the first. They kind of started and kickstarted the train of conference realignment. And because of that, I mean, we now see, if you fast forward 7, 8, 10 years after 2011, when Nebraska moved, it's so common. And every single summer there was moving and shaking and multiple schools moving, multiple power leagues or non-power leagues every single time. It just became more, you know, normalized. And then all the conferences sort of got jumbled, and Nebraska had to deal with that long period of time, almost 10 years, where they were kind of alone, you know, in the realignment sort of, you know, space, which I obviously did not help them. They're on better footing now in the league. And then, like I said before, with Creighton, the obvious difference with them is that they went into a league that sort of was just reborn. Rob Anderson tweeted these out yesterday. The combined records for he did each of the sports sort of by themselves. Combined records for sports where everyone plays each other every year. So he's talking about men's and women's basketball, men's and women's soccer, baseball, softball, volleyball combined since Creighton joined the league. Creighton is the best by far combined in all of those. 872 wins compared to the next best, St. John's, 731. That's combined in all those sports. Creighton is hilariously 204-16 in volleyball.
I was going to say the strength of that is volleyball because no one else cares in the Big East, right?
The first, Marquette cares. Marquette cares, and they've been pretty good. I mean, they've gone to Sweet 16 and stuff like that, but it's few and far between. Right. There's no doubt about it. I believe the number was Creighton in volleyball went 12-4 in the league in their first year. And since then, that makes
since then have not.
That makes up for a quarter of their all-time losses ever.
No, that's what I mean.
Conference.
Like it's they're not exactly going to lose a lot of conference games.
Baseball, they have the most wins out of anyone. Men's basketball, they have the second most wins out of anyone. Women's basketball, they have the fourth most wins out of anyone during that period of time. I mean, it's crazy. I guess that's it's worked out so well for Creighton to be in the spot, and it's still to this day like a perfect fit.
It's a credit to them because they haven't sacrificed, like they've continued to be viable in these sports. Like I don't know what their record is in like men's and women's soccer, but I assume they're at least holding their own. in those regards. They're probably not one of the last.
Men's
two
soccer,
teams.
absolutely. I mean, they went to a college cup. The
Yeah.
women's soccer has been a little bit more slow going, although I think they are getting better right now. Let's see. Rob had that yesterday. Men's and women's soccer. Men's soccer, second most
Yeah.
wins. Women's soccer is down in the bottom 4.
But they're not last in anything.
Definitely not last.
Which again just speaks to, and I think it's one of the impressive things, whether it's Creighton, whether it's Nebraska. I can't really speak for UNO, but like in this age where the thought was, okay, we'll sacrifice other sports to really pump up these, volleyball and football and what have you. Nebraska's proven to be competitive at a lot more stuff than I ever would have guessed. And Creighton certainly has too.
It's crazy. I mean,
And I think that's great. Like
they were always a complete, athletic department. They have always, even in the Valley, they'd sort of been a complete athletic department. Like they care about everything. There's good athletes around here, and there's a lot of things to attract people to Creighton. But to move the entire operation, get in a van and move it all to the Big East, and to maintain and oftentimes build on that success is still pretty wild to think about, especially in men's basketball.
Well, and especially when you just consider they're at a travel disadvantage relative to almost everyone in that conference.
That's true. Yeah.
So like you deal with the logistical aspects of it far more than if you're St. John's and you're right next to Providence and UConn and Seton Hall and all of it.
It's
Georgetown. Those the original 7, is that what that is? Or 6 of them if you just, DePaul
right, they're all
is
basically
not,
next to each other.
DePaul is the furthest out of that.
Yes, I mean Seton Hall, Villanova, Providence, St. John's, and Georgetown.
Yeah, so you have 5 schools that are within
and then there's
3 hours.
And then there's
or less.
UConn,
Yeah.
who's right there.
Yeah,
as well.
so 6 schools that are within 3 hours of each other, basically.
Yeah, and then there's the Midwest
The rest.
schools like Creighton, Xavier, DePaul, and Marquette. Who did I miss in there? Butler. Sorry.
DePaul seems like it'd be the school that'd be last at most everything.
DePaul has the least amount of basketball wins during that period of time, men's basketball. They're actually quite good at been quite good at women's basketball. DePaul doesn't obviously have any baseball wins because they don't have a baseball team. They are 3rd in softball.
Look at that.
Not bad. In volleyball, they are bottom 4. Providence dead last in that category. And then, by the way, some of these are skewed still because UConn just joined the league 5 years ago, rejoined the league 5 years ago. And then what's this one? Oh, total. Providence is last amongst the full Big East members. And then DePaul is next. UConn doesn't really count because, like I said, there's not enough sample size. Akron is a member in soccer.
I see that. I'm like, I was trying to figure that one out, and I was going to let you explain.
They are a member of the Midwest division of the Big East in soccer to the Big East Conference. So yeah, that's a little bit different in that category. But man, there's just no way. There's just no other ways you can cut it. They have had a tremendous amount of success. It's been a huge win over the last nearly 15 years since Creighton's joined the Big East, and then there's Omaha. In the league that they're in, which almost they've kind of outgrown at this point.
Yeah, they definitely outgrown.
I know they're.
I think the league is a
like,
detriment to them at this point.
There isn't this like overwhelming success to be like, we're better than this. Like we're out of here. But I think they've sort of outgrown the Summit League, which I don't know. I mean, that's a pretty quick rise for a team that just moved to Division I 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. They've outgrown the South Dakota.
Part of it is they have no
the
peers.
Dakotas.
Like they just don't have peers in that conference because that conference is
They want to. I would imagine that they want to be in a space that has more schools that look like it and think like it. Meaning, we're talking about bigger
non-state funded universities,
bigger cities where it doesn't have to be a commuter school or anything like that, like whatever it is, but sort of that idea. Omaha, St. Louis,
they fit more to me in like a Horizon or even the Valley. And the Valley is probably more similar to Valley's like a step up from Summit, but it includes, Wichita and Belmont and Drake, like all of those.
Wichita, Des Moines, right?
All of those are more urban. Like Omaha just stands out relative to the Summit when you
100%.
run through that.
That and Oral Roberts. I mean,
And-
Oral Roberts is even different because of its, qualifications as a school.
And so the other thing with the Summit is like the strength of that league is always just going to be on I-29 in that area. Like it's some of it is I would be frustrated if I was a UNO.
There's no
You
doubt.
know, like so much of that league is just geared towards South Dakota State, North Dakota State.
100%.
Just- that's what
And
it
it's
is.
always going to be that.
Right.
So
I think there's an exit plan certainly in place, and I'll be fascinated if it's the Valley or somewhere else.
text from a couple texts here before we take a break from the 760. The Big East is not regional either, which
Wichita is AAC. I did forget that. Sorry.
they were in the Valley. There was a time. Creighton is my alma mater. Love them, but besides basketball, not exactly a competitive conference and anything else. So easy to have winning records for Creighton. But I guess the counter to that is I'd rather be dominating, I guess, in those sports, in those leagues than I would be in the Valley. I guess I don't know. It is nice to have the regional rivalries. There's no doubt about it. And there's certain things about the Valley that I do miss. Like it's the same things about the Big 12 North that I miss. To be honest with you, it's Wichita and weirdly Drake and weirdly Evansville and like all these different things. It was home, it was so warm and all those different things. But I just would like, if you're giving me in any sport random matchup, Creighton is playing Xavier versus Creighton is, in baseball versus Creighton is playing Southern Illinois, I'm taking Xavier. Like that's it's just a prestige thing. And maybe I'm shallow for that.
15 years later, I don't have like this nostalgia pull for the Big 12 North. There's things like I miss like the idea of playing a Missouri or a Kansas State or a Colorado, but they can still do it in a one-off. It can still exist in that regard. I don't miss that conference as a whole. I have definitely embraced Big Ten basketball. Obviously, the success of the last few years has helped, but I feel like I was there before that too. Some of it is just experiencing more in person.
Yeah.
Than when I was a kid.
That makes a huge difference.
So that's a big part of it for me.
Let's take a break. If you guys have any thoughts on that, let us know. 402-951-1620. A lot of people correcting us on who's in what conference. We will clean all that up when we take a break. After we take a break here on 1620 The Zone. It is topic alert day here on 1620 The Zone. It doesn't have quite the same cachet to it as the original topic alert day, which always falls as a, I think last year we did it on the 5th, I want to say, like, because the 4th was on a Thursday, and then we came back and worked on the Friday, and it was like, what are we going to do? And then we just say topic alert, and people, send in some topics. So we're going to do a version of that, basically, and I have an opinion, which is coming up in about a half hour. But I do have a topic alert for you. When you think, this is based off of what's going on in our comments right now. When you see the initials SDSU, what do you think of?
For me, it's South Dakota State, but having run into this problem when searching for things, many, many more people see San Diego State.
You think you think more people like in the world see San Diego State? Mm-hmm. What do you think about you pull 10 or 100 Omahans? What do they see?
Probably a 7-3 split of South Dakota State because it's regional.
So 7 see
70%.
70 see South Dakota State. And 30 see San Diego
That
State.
would be, my guess. South Dakota State has tried to do Sodak State more.
What?
At times.
Oh, come on. You don't need to do Sodak State.
It's not like a conscious effort on their part. I've just seen it like split out that way for people to try to distinguish.
There are schools that do different, they want to be very specific in what they are called, like on the tickers or on the score bugs at the bottom of the screen. Like they've changed that over the years. A lot of the school, like the artist formerly known as UNO, did this. Like there used to be a variety of different ways to identify UNO, but people around here knew it and still know it as UNO.
Mm-hmm.
But nationally, they had been Neb Omaha or Nebraska Omaha or, whatever it might be. And they are now saying, look, it's Omaha.
So early on, I would search UNO basketball and it would come up University of New Orleans Privateers.
And you know what happened to them yesterday?
They went down?
They rebranded they are now LSU New Orleans.
Oh, interesting.
I heard about this.
That's
I did not see that.
They even changed their colors to purple and they're just trying to, I think, confuse people that they are a New Orleans version of LSU, which is a great idea.
So it's kind of like a merge.
They could probably get some, new students based off of
so
that.
It's just LSU's campus in New Orleans, basically, is what the idea
That's what they're trying to tell you.
Sounds like a merge.
No, they're not merging anything. They've always been affiliated with each other because they're in the LSU
Look at
state
how many
system.
national championships the Privateers have won.
None. Well, actually, I don't know, but
I don't either.
They don't claim any of LSU.
I'm trying to think of other ones that have been tricky for me throughout time. So OSU. I have never heard anyone refer to Ohio State as OSU.
What about Oregon State?
I have heard of people refer to Oregon State as OSU, but not that many.
So I guess the answer here is you are whatever part of the country you're in is going to dictate this, because there's an OSU out west, there's an OSU in the middle, and there's an OSU in Ohio, which I guess is kind of still in the middle.
USC becomes a regional thing for people.
See, that one, I don't even see the argument for South Carolina.
I don't either.
That one is just SC, which is funny because USC has kind of taken SC as well.
Well, and then Sports Center was trying to take SC for a while.
Sorry, South Carolina. You're the odd man out here.
Your brand is just less than in all of these situations.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
I'm sorry. Luckily, no one will ever confuse Nebraska with anything. Oh, wait. Nebraska is one of the most confusing ones of all because they say they're NU, but it's the University of Nebraska.
It's very confusing.
It's very confusing. I've never understood that.
Yeah. Just call them Neb Lincoln.
And then it becomes Neb.
Is there any reason why they're NU, but they're the University?
No one has
of
ever
Nebraska?
explained it to me. I don't know.
Does Al know?
That is a good question for Al.
I think you might break Al asking this question.
Yeah, I don't even know how to ask it, honestly. because it's UNL, University of Nebraska Lincoln, but still on occasionally you will see marked NU.
Why?
I guess
such
it's
a wordy
probably
question.
it's probably just because you don't want to say UN.
United Nations.
Right.
Kind
You just want to stay
of
away
like
from UN.
Oklahoma and Kansas because it's University of Oklahoma, University of Kansas, but they refer to OU, KU.
Yeah,
So they're kind of following that formula that
that's true.
Oklahoma
And
and
we're
Kansas
all waving the
rebranded.
wheat too.
What if they all had rebranded when Omaha did, and they just went by cities, and it was just Lincoln, Kearney, and Omaha?
Okay, that would be a wild rebrand.
Because that's kind of what
Kearney.
Louisiana did, where it went from UL Monroe to just sort of Monroe,
Louisiana.
and then Louisiana Monroe and Louisiana Lafayette. But then
Well,
Louisiana Lafayette claims to just be Louisiana.
Yep.
Right. Lafayette is just Louisiana.
Right.
Which great rebrand by them. Nice job. If you could take the entire state, take it.
Might as well.
I'm still calling them ULL,
Which is basically what Nebraska did. They just said, we're going to just be Nebraska. Is that okay?
which they should.
It's the flagship university of the state system, obviously. But like, yeah, they earned that one. So if they went to Lincoln, that would be a terrible move, obviously. But when kids around here, like when I was in high school, they would refer to Nebraska as Lincoln.
Yeah.
Like, where are you going to college? I'm going to Lincoln. And everyone knew that meant Nebraska. There wasn't some college called Lincoln College.
Or now Wesleyan or
They weren't going there.
Nobody from Central was going to Wesleyan.
Not that I know of.
Wesleyan was held in high regard for whatever reason from Columbus people. I don't
Really?
know why. I have no idea why. It just was.
Huh.
Like, oh, you're going to Wesleyan?
People are going to Wesleyan? Whoa.
Wow.
I mean, they had expensive tuition.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it's a great institution. It just makes me laugh when I think about it now.
Some NAIA schools that have been there for a long time. The Dones and the
Hastings.
Hastings. Oh yeah, Hastings College is a good one. Nice. We lost Dana College.
We did lose Dana. It
Mhm.
became just another extension of Midland, right? Didn't they buy that campus up there?
I have no idea what goes on at the former Dana campus.
I thought they bought that campus. I could be wrong.
Really. I didn't know that Midland had an extension to it, or like a Midland. What would that be? Blair.
Midland in 2017 acquired former Dana campus.
Wow. Would you look at that?
I thought that's what happened.
I didn't know that. Debo says Mizzou does the same. So Mizzou does. Yeah, Mizzou does UM.
Yeah.
Or do they do UM?
And no, they do.
Well, but Tennessee and Texas both do UT, right?
They do.
That's got to be confusing for people. So I guess it just
Well,
depends
especially because they're both giant T's.
Big T.
And so
Not
that
the one
only,
on our
and they
TV.
are each orange. It is confusing.
That is, and they actually look like each other.
Yeah. Well, whenever we do the stupid baseball sim, and I had to tell myself every time
I
that
had no idea.
it was Texas, not Tennessee, with the giant orange T.
The Big T.
One of them needs the logo change.
I didn't know that Missouri. I guess you're right, Debo. Like Missouri does do MU, but it's the University of Missouri. What is the origin point of that? Who started that? I'm not mad at it. It's just interesting.
Yeah. We just want answers to questions that we can't get.
Anyway,
answers.
but thank you for the thank you to Blue Jay R6 in the comments for making it the 3,000th day in a row that I have thought about Creighton losing to San Diego State in the Elite Eight in 2023. I don't know if it's been 3,000 days since then, but simply you saying
forever.
SDSU made me think about it. So thanks. And anytime now, so you could also thank Nebraska for this. Anytime Taj McGorville, remember that guy for Nebraska now? Anytime he's mentioned, you know what I think of? San Diego State. You know what I think of when I think of San Diego State? That one time. So this is not good. BJ Davis, he plays for Creighton now. You know what I think of? San Diego State. You know what I think of when I think of San Diego State? That one time.
the foul that was
That was
not
a
a foul, but was definitely a foul.
Exactly.
Okay.
That exact time. So every day. And it will never end. We'll take a break. It's time for Joey's headlines. Get your opinions in, folks. I have an opinion. It's coming up in about 15 or 20 minutes. Send those in, whichever way you would like to get in touch with the show. We will hear Many, many, many topics on this Thursday before the 4th of July. We're back after this on 1620 The Zone.
And now we've reached the point in the show where Josh Odson reads the peculiar, the bizarre, the comical, the odd news with Odd Son. Odd news, Odd Son. See what we did there? The odd news with Oddson.
It is time for the odd news. That's right. Bit Week. When Bit Week and Topic Alert Day fall on the same day, I mean, it's really special. And guess what? Josh isn't even here to do the odd news with Oddson. But Joey's here to do topics and headlines. What do we have, Joey?
Let me pull up my document. Okay, headline number 1. 79-year-old grandma given lifetime ban from entire supermarket in the UK.
All right, I'm interested. Yeah, we're pretty close to making that an auto click.
There's been a run on grandmas or older lady stories. Do you hear about the woman in the retirement home or assisted living facility that got a letter threatening to kick her out because she throws too many ragers?
No.
And she basically made a video
That's awesome.
telling them off. It's pretty great.
All right, cool. Shout out to old ladies.
Love it. Okay, headline number 2. I had to call an audible for this one because Connor mentioned this earlier with the Empire State Building. But anyway, headline number 2. A rare dinosaur fossil from Antarctica, interesting, is found tucked away in a drawer.
Don't try and sell me on this fossil story, Joey. I'm going back to the grocery
He
store.
wants a
I
different
figured.
fossil, a 79-year-old fossil.
Roasted. All right, this is from Dextero.com or Dexerto.com. A 79-year-old great-grandmother says she's been left feeling like a criminal after receiving a lifetime ban from every Sainsbury's and Argos store in the UK following a dispute with the staff. The incident began while Rita Seymour from Hook, Hampshire, was trying to buy a Euro Millions ticket from her local Sainsbury's during her weekly shop. She repeatedly asked a staff member for the ticket before hearing them say over a headset that, quote, "This customer is being rude to me," reports the Mirror. The situation quickly escalated with more store managers shouting and flailing their arms before attempting to use a body-worn camera to record what was happening. Seymour admitted knocking the camera from a manager's hand, but insists she had done nothing wrong. "I am not the guilty party. I wasn't nasty to her. I'm nearly 80 years old. I wouldn't start trouble with anybody," she said. "I've been in the customer service all my life, and I've never been spoken to like this." Seymour also claims that staff accused her of stealing her shopping before she produced her receipt and was escorted out of the store. This is interesting. When she returned the following day, she was handed a letter informing her that she had been banned from all Sainsbury's or Argos stores in the UK, including any gas stations or car parks owned by the chain. I have been so dumbfounded," she said. "I was shaking when I left there. I could have cried." She's been going to the store for years, and she insists that she's not lying. She didn't do anything wrong. A 79-year-old who said she had shopped at the Hook branch for years also denied Sainsbury's claim the decision followed a number of incidents over time. That's what the store is claiming. "I would never tell lies. I've lived here for 45 years. I haven't got a blemish on my character," she said. "I'm not a troublemaker, but to be treated like that, I won't give in." Now
She needs a character reference.
She does.
She reminds looking
I'm
at the picture,
concerned.
she reminds me of the character from The Room, Claudette. She's the mother that had the breast cancer, and there was no lead up to it or anything.
Interesting.
She's got that character feel.
I'm concerned that she actually sucks, the old lady.
You're worried she's lying?
Yes, yeah. It seems like she's trying to get away with this based on the fact that she's 80 years, like she's trying to sell to the crowd. "How can I do anything wrong? I'm 80 years old. I'm just an old British woman." That's what a guilty person would say. A guilty old British woman would say. I don't believe her. My verdict after reading this one article that seems to be an aggregated story from a different website is she's Guilty. Kick her out of the Sainsbury's.
Wow. I would love for more incidents to have been listed as to what they were and what transpired, but
I
that's
believe
not
it.
the case.
I mean, you don't go to the grocery store and people just and the employees at the grocery store are just like all of a sudden trying to frame her for this thing. She must have done something, right?
Generally speaking, you would assume that.
I don't know. Like I guess I trust people enough to not just completely frame this woman into thinking that she had done multiple incidents over time. No way.
We need to hear more from the other party involved, I think, before a ruling could actually be made.
I would like to hear more from Sainsbury's,
Agreed.
the grocery store.
Agreed.
So there you go. Unfortunately, she's not allowed in the grocery store anymore. She'll have to find a different grocery store, but she's
There's
not giving up
plenty
the
of
fight.
them.
It's a 30-minute walk to the nearest Tesco instead of visiting the Sainsbury's just 8 minutes from her home.
Well, she should have thought about that when she did all those incidents over all those years.
She looks angry in the photo. That's
She
listed
She
in the
does.
She does. I don't know.
I mean, that's kind of a thing for old people. They tend to be angry.
Okay, wow. I think something's going on here.
I've dealt with that.
I think something's going on here. That is the odd news / the headlines. We will take a break. It's time for I Have an Opinion. So send us your opinions, 402-951-1620. We will get to all of them that we can, whichever way you'd like to get in touch with the show today, right after this on 1620 The Zone.
This is the I Have an Opinion song. Haven't done an intro yet. Need to get on that.
It's time for I Have an Opinion, which means you send in your opinions to us and we read them. And contrary to some people's belief, we try to read them all. And we don't just focus on one stream of communication.
We got many.
Many
And
different streams of communications.
And there's an incentive.
And we have
of
never
course.
forgotten about Norbit through the entirety of a show.
That's
Just a
Friday
segment.
shoutouts, by the way.
No, it's still.
But we do
Throw
never
that
forget
in.
it. We do never. I have an opinion. We never forget about Norbit.
Absolutely.
We never, ever do. And yes, like you said, Joey, incentive. What's the incentive?
You get a pair of passes to the Ocon Expo over at the Mid-America Center in Council Bluffs, which is running from July 17th to the 19th. So these are these are 3-day passes for the it's kind of like a Comic-Con. And I know Schaefer, later on the show, you are going to list out some of the guests that are appearing at the event. You're going
Yeah.
to list them out for Connor, see if he kind of knows what's up.
Who any of these people are.
Get off! Sorry, I like when other people talk for a little while. That way,
You're
I just
an
get
idiot!
Free range at the drops. It's awesome.
Good luck with
Ocon-
that, Dan.
Ocon on the line. All right, we got lots of opinions. Let's get to them now. How about I go to the Equitable Bank inbox first? I have a couple flagged emails here. Here is
that huge guy?
John from yesterday. This came in at 8:35 last night. I have an opinion. Michael Severe and Matt McMaster are the younger and older versions of each other. Thus, they coexist in parallel universes.
Interesting.
They are each other.
Yeah. Do you think that? Do you see that?
I think they are similar to each other in the way that they view football, maybe. You know, like as much as they argue over football,
Sure.
I think they are, you know, they take a similar approach. They just love actually, you know what? Let's go more broad. They both really like to absorb information.
That's a good one.
That's about it though. Because I don't know.
I know.
and they
with
like yelling.
100% certainty, if I ask for an answer on a question or need an opinion on something, each will provide.
That is true.
So that is another area where they're similar. There's so much life difference where they could not be more different
Exactly.
that it's hard to wrap around that. But like if you drill in on a couple things, they maybe have some similar communication aspects to them.
I wouldn't call them the same person though.
Definitely not.
And yeah, no.
But there's some strong where the similarities are strong. It's really strong.
John writes in, this is a different John, by the way. I have an opinion. If we aren't going to do anything about the little punks riding mini bikes and four-wheelers on the streets and in the parks, and we aren't going to do anything about those little punks' parents starting to light fireworks on June 22nd, you know they are the same people, I should be able to shoot fireworks at the little punks on mini bikes and four-wheelers without getting into any trouble. What do you think?
Interesting.
Shooting fireworks at children.
No.
I don't recommend
Joey,
shooting fireworks
don't.
at people.
Joey said a quick no on that one. No.
I do appreciate that there is a run of
I haven't
people
seen
that are
that.
tired
Mm-mm.
of the e-bikes and the scooters and all of it.
It's wild, man. I don't really know what to say about it.
I didn't think
It's
that I was
bad.
on an island, but I feel stronger knowing that there's more people that are curmudgeon-y about this.
I would not have it result in shooting fireworks at children either. I don't think that is the right way to go about the business, unfortunately. Unfortunately, I believe, really, John, your only play here on this confluence of things with the dirt bikes and the mini bikes and the four-wheelers and whatever, and the 4th of July all happening at the same time is just to lock in and just bear it for a couple more days. Eventually, the winds will turn from the north and it will get chilly and the dirt bikes will go away and they won't turn into snowmobiles. You know, like they maybe the dirt bikes stay around a little bit in the winter time. The fireworks will go away. And then John will be a cold and happy person. once the dirt bikes and the fireworks go away.
Yeah, it's going to be a long time for the dirt bikes to go away. I mean,
It'll
they're
be a
still
while.
going to be out in December.
It will be a while. There's no doubt about it.
Really, it's only a couple month period where the dirt bikes won't be out.
Theo says, arrest their parents. Problem solved.
There you go.
I'm with that.
Joey's cool with that.
I'm sign me up.
That.
It's time to start arresting people. No, I mean, yeah, they're getting the police called on them.
They should.
Just nothing's really happening after that. It doesn't seem.
We need an entire army of police to crack down on the
Neighborhood watch.
the bikes and the dirt bikes and the e-scooters and the golf carts, all of it.
We do.
We'll start our neighborhood watch force.
Someone could run a mayoral election, campaign trying to
Odson.
do that.
We can't save you from the streetcar, but we can round up all of the e-bikes.
I will stop the voids from opening, and I will stop the
should
e-bikes.
not campaign against the voids. It is too unpredictable.
You think the voids are too unstoppable?
I think the voids are going to win.
Unfortunately, it does seem like they will. But you can make guarantees that don't come to fruition. That is a staple.
I'm not entirely convinced that there won't be a day in which the streetcar goes into the void,
Oh, I know. I mean,
which only
the
makes
voids
it
are
less
opening
likely.
up along the streetcar route.
It makes
because of
it less
construction.
likely that I want to ride the streetcar.
And it was already pretty unlikely.
Yeah.
That you rode the
Because I would need
streetcar.
to be somewhere where the streetcar is,
Which is
famously
nowhere.
where I'm never at.
Exactly.
Maybe the streetcar goes underground under one of these voids to make it
then
turn
we
it
can
into a
just turn it
tunnel.
into a subway.
Turn it into
Wow.
a tunnel.
That's a great idea, actually, Joey. Maybe this is a good
If
thing.
a streetcar goes into a void, is it now a subway?
Then Matt gets his subway and not have to go to Hammond for that.
Yeah, that's true.
I have an opinion. I have an
You,
opinion.
Connor
Whoa.
Happer, have
If you are a business
okay.
and you tell people that you are opening at
Oh.
a time, please open at that time. Please do not wait any longer after that period of time to be open for business. That is my opinion.
So this is you've run into this with the same.
I run into this all the time for some reason. It frustrates me to no end.
Yeah.
And apparently there's no end in sight. Nobody cares. I go to I am pointed in the direction of a delicious food that I love yesterday. And I go and it fits perfectly.
Is this the same one that it's happened to you multiple times?
Yeah,
now?
No.
is this
No.
particularly the one I saw on Twitter
No.
a couple of weeks?
No.
Okay.
Nope, it's not that.
So this is a new.
Remember the text I got from Michael with all the crabs?
Oh, yeah.
So this fits perfectly in my day yesterday. Perfectly. Because it opens at 11 and I got to go to the ballpark because the game starts at 1.
Sure.
It's perfect.
You
If
got
I-
a window.
and it's right in the right, line as well. It's out on, 72nd. I got to go over to UNO. It's perfect. I show up at a few minutes before line starts to congregate because these lobster rolls are really sought after.
People want them rolls.
And I'm like, wow, I better jump out and get in line. So, about 10:47 or something like that, 10:52, I hop in there and there's 4 people there. And the truck opens at 11 and 11 comes and goes and no sign of the truck opening. And you can hear some rattling and rustling in there. 11:10 comes by and rattling and rustling, and 11:15 and 11:20. And we're still all sitting there, and it is growing sunnier and sweatier outside. And finally, a man pops out, and he starts to open the doors up. It's 11:27, and I say, "Thanks," and nothing, no communication with this. I get my lobster roll. I pay $100 for it. And I go home. All right,
Was it good?
It was delicious.
Okay.
Of course, it was.
Was it hot or cold?
It was cold. I got the cold one.
Nice.
There's
I
options.
think I opt cold with the lobster.
I
roll.
do too.
I think that's the route that I go.
But the point is, if you're going to say you open at a time, just open. Like, no questions asked. Just be open. If that means you have to park the thing there a little bit earlier or get there a little bit earlier or take a little bit of extra time out of you got to be open at 11. Show starts at 6. We're here at 6.
Most of the time.
Except for the first day when we didn't know the show started at 6.
Or that one time that I missed the first 40 minutes of the show.
That's okay. But I was here to start the show.
True.
As long as we are here to pick things up. All right. Back to the text line. We'll get through a lot of these. I have an opinion from the 402. if you order eggs over easy or sunny side up at a breakfast establishment, it should automatically come with a piece of toast. Definitely.
I don't
Right?
have any problem with this opinion.
I mean, I think usually it does, right? Are they trying to take away our toast at the restaurants?
They better not be.
Interesting.
We like our toast.
Let's see what we got here on the phone line real quick. Hello, caller from the phones.
I wanted to apologize because I got an update on Facebook saying that they had moved it back to 11:20, and I didn't text you.
Wait,
and
really?
Yeah, they sent an update because I follow the page, and first they moved it to 11:15. That happened the day before, but then they said we're running a little late, 11:20, and then I probably should have just sent you a text, but I did not remember to do that. So I apologize for you sitting there thinking it was 11 o'clock and it really wasn't.
Well, I wanted it, and there would have been a line if I would have showed up at 11. I probably would have ended up just going somewhere else. So I'm glad I got the lobster roll, Michael, by the way. It was good.
Well, I'm glad you got it too. You know, it's a handshake meme between the two of us for lobster rolls being the greatest sandwiches on the planet. But I thought about that afterwards and said, damn, I probably should have. Because you texted me, and I texted you back, and I should have said, hey, by the way, they moved it to 11:20.
I would have been sad to receive that text, to be honest with you. So
more sad than you were standing in line.
Maybe
you wouldn't rather have the update of what was going on.
I would have probably rather had the update, but I would have gone somewhere else, and I would have been lobster roll-less yesterday, and I would have spent my entire 4th of July weekend without a lobster roll.
Was it really $100?
No, I was exagerating. It was
probably a quarter of that.
It was like 32 or something like that.
That tracks.
I did pay $27 at that old place that used to be in Millico Hills, so I thought
that place is good.
Possibility. That place is really good. I'm sad it closed. They probably charge people too much money, and the rent probably is too much expensive over there for them. But yeah, that place was really good.
Hot or cold?
I'm a cold one. I like if you really
that's all three of us.
Take a cold lobster, the mix, and put it on a hot roll. I think that would be my favorite thing.
Yeah, interesting. That's a great idea.
New England style. New England style would be awesome.
Oh, all right, Michael. Thank you for the non-text and the information. Anyway,
I apologize.
Right.
Sorry. Bye, guys.
We should have asked him how he felt about.
I think
being
it was my
compared to
Matt. What? Oh, we should have.
No,
but we have more opinions to get to. More opinions. Here is Jesse. I have an opinion. My wife is going to call me right when this segment comes on, and I like this segment. Grunt the Slate is the GOAT, though. That was at 7:44. Jesse sent that message. Sorry, hopefully you're off the phone with your wife by now to listen to this.
Grunt the Slate is the GOAT.
Yeah, you don't know about Grunt the Slate?
I didn't really ever listen to Grunt the Slate. I mean,
you know what Grunt the Slate was?
I'll be honest, my listening of 1620 The Zone has skyrocketed since I lived in Omaha.
That makes sense.
And now that I drive all the time, seemingly.
I'm
like always in a car. I used to never be in a car. I had a job where I worked from home, and I was never in a car, and my kid's daycare was 4 minutes from my house, and I might have to do that twice a day. Otherwise, it's just home all the time.
Are you interested in Grunting the Slate?
I don't think we got it. I think Odson got it.
Okay.
It was part of the bit court.
I mean, he was.
If we have to respect the decisions that were made there,
we don't. We steal bits all the time.
Well, if you want to grunt the Slate, but he was the one that did the grunting. Right?
Nah, it fits him better. He grunts.
Okay.
Yeah. Here is a text from the 402. I have an opinion. Friday shoutouts reminds me to stay thankful, and I appreciate that. Oh, that's nice. That's good. Glad to help you out in your reminding to stay thankful.
We like it.
From the 402, I have an opinion. Little Brother is the best comedy movie to come out in the last 30 years. What is Little Brother? Is that a Kevin Hart movie?
Little Brother has Eric Andre and John Cena.
Okay, there's absolutely no way that is the truth. That movie has to suck.
A 5.4 on IMDb, a 40% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 3 out of 4 from Roger Ebert.
There's absolutely no chance that movie is good.
I bet it's not even as good as Ricky Stenicki, which was surprisingly funny.
What's Ricky Stenicki?
Another John Cena movie.
Whoa. I haven't seen John Cena in very many movies. I don't necessarily love what I see when I see John Cena in
He
movies.
was in I don't know if I'm allowed to even say the name of the movie.
I don't know either. I don't know what you're going to say.
We'll just stay away from it.
All right.
I think it had Leslie Mann in it, though.
Here is Pedro. Hi, guys. I think Connor's high V bias is coming through. Customer service is terrible now. So I believe the nice old lady. She would never do anything bad. Just ask her great grandchildren. That was from the headline story from earlier. Maybe I have a little high
V bias.
I got high V bias. Yeah, I used to work at high V.
Yeah. Okay.
You
Same.
know? And I believe in customer service.
What did you
and they
do at Hy-Vee?
too. I worked in the produce section of the salad bar.
Okay.
And so I cut fruit and things of that nature and stocked the salad bar.
I was in the meat department.
I wanted to be either in the meat department or be a cashier. And they were like, nope, you're produce. And I was like, what? I wanted to work out in front of the people, and they put me in this back room cutting stuff up.
Oh,
I just thought that was not the appropriate use.
I was in front of the people.
I needed to be out front.
Man in the cases.
I would have been a very helpful smile, but I got to go into the store very little, which is sad. For the 402, I have an opinion. Snapchat is not for the youths, as this station suggests. I'm a 39-year-old farmer, and it's how we communicate. It would be weird to send a text to 10 people saying, I got manure on my face, and I don't want to receive a text that says, my tractor caught on fire. But seeing these things in picture format is enjoyable.
Okay.
Snapchat's for the farmers.
Did not know how pervasive Snapchatting would be for the farming.
It is nice to have a picture attached to it. I will admit that. But there are other ways to do it.
There's like a world where you can send a picture with a text, but somehow this has been completely and utterly forgotten since the invention of Snapchat.
Exactly. It has rendered everything useless. Yeah. Pictures.
Just incredible to me.
From the 5, let's see. That was an opinion on conference realignment from earlier. Here is Alex and Lincoln. I have an opinion. The Dirty Bit Stealers is a great bit for this week. Thank you. It's called Bit Week for a reason, folks.
Well, I think they're calling us Dirty Bit Stealers on other shows.
That's awesome. That's fine. That's great.
I like it.
We'll proudly be that.
Here is Cody. I have an opinion. People that wear weighted vests while out for a walk or a run look like dorks.
100% cosign.
Can you? How often do we see that? I don't.
All the time.
Oh, okay.
So I had in Lincoln, the guy who lived directly across the street from me would leave his house at 6:45 every morning in a weighted vest, go for his 45-minute walk or whatever. He'd be coming home. I would just see him when I was out, either taking trash out or taking my kid to daycare or whatever. Always wore the weighted vest. In the last 2 houses that I've had, a lot of people are out walking all the time. I would probably say 1 out of every 5 walkers has a weighted vest.
That's crazy.
In the areas of which I have known.
Do people still wear the ankle weights?
I can't say I see anyone wearing ankle weights.
The ankle weights is a great idea.
Why?
It's like a bat donut, you know?
Yeah, but why?
Wouldn't you want to feel lighter when you take them off?
Why?
Just for fun?
Okay.
And
no.
I'm sure there's a strength component to it as well.
I'm guessing there's an actual reason, but no, I don't think the weighted vest. There's some people that have to do it for training or whatever. I had a roommate 10, 12 years ago that was trying to get into the JAG program, and he would wear the weighted vest when he ran to help.
That's a reason.
For his testing that he had to do to get into this program. So that was like my first experience with it. Now I just feel like I see it everywhere.
Let's go back to the text line here. Got a few more, and then I got tweets as well. Blake Show says, I have an opinion. Storm Chaser games aren't the same when Happer isn't on the mic at the game. That can't be true. I'm sure they're absolutely great without me at the game.
You don't need Connor Happer.
You don't need.
They miss Happer going back and forth between doing a radio show and doing this.
That was a bit. That was a bit that we
going
did.
on the field.
From Christopher, I have an opinion. We need to have more collaboration with sports radio talk show hosts from across the country. A cross banter between Iowa Sports Talk and 1620 would be legendary. Well, brings up some unfortunate news this week with an Iowa Sports Talk station that was. Did you hear about this?
No.
I didn't see
about I remember seeing something.
Yeah.
Generally, if you start with, did you hear about this? You can assume the answer is going to be
I am
no.
just shocked at the randomness at which you pay attention to stories.
I am shocked at the randomness of the things that you know, but then the many things of which it's like, Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't see a single second of the World Cup, but I can tell you in great detail about this completely and utterly nonsensical story from across the world because I saw it in a TikTok video from a 12-year-old.
That is true. It gives me random stuff. That's how I keep up on my random stuff. John writes in, a lobster roll is the greatest sandwich ever, maybe the worst food take I've ever heard on 1620, and there have been a lot of horrible food takes around here. John, that cannot be true.
Lobster roll is top tier stuff.
That's just.
I don't know if it's my
there is
absolute
so many.
favorite
I mean, there
sandwich.
are people here who dip everything into ketchup. I mean, like, come on, that is not even close to the worst food opinion you've heard. Gus Mohawk, I have an opinion. Oh no, he says it. A hot dog is a sandwich. You got meat, sauce, bread. It's a sandwich. I do not acknowledge these opinions.
I don't care.
Let's see. Pedro writes in, hi, guys, I have an opinion. Ulysses' wife waited 20 years without any word if he was alive. My wife would wait a month. If there was no word, if there was no word I was alive. She would be having a funeral and a yard sale for all my tools and golf stuff the very next week.
Did he have good golf stuff?
I don't know.
I'm interested.
It'd be gone right away if he was missing for any period of time, apparently. All right, to the tweets. Here is Mark. This show needs more opinions, segments, guests, and real-time polls about sandwiches. Ever since the divorce, the time spent discussing sandwiches has gone way down. Be better. Smiley face emoji. Oh, we can talk more sandwiches if you're interested.
I did not realize that I was what was holding back sandwich.
You have stopped the sandwich talk.
And I like sandwiches.
I know. We should talk more sandwiches.
Apparently.
All right. It's in your bag. I think we could do that. Joel, I have an opinion. Food trucks have become too expensive. They used to be a cheap alternative until they became popular and trendy.
Yeah, there's something to that. Food in general is just expensive, so everything is.
The food
more
trucks
expensive.
are like,
But yeah, you're not getting out of there under $20.
it's almost like you're paying a premium for the fact that it's in
Right.
a truck, which I always thought it would.
That's his point, and I
Yeah.
think it's the correct one.
But isn't that wrong? Shouldn't it be cheaper if it's in a truck?
It should be cheaper. No, I agree.
Okay. all
Because
right.
there's no brick and mortar that you're helping substantiate
yeah.
with the money of what you're paying.
I know.
You're just paying for a guy's truck
In gas.
and gas.
The gas money. Let's see. Michael Severe. I have an opinion at Happen Shafe that the Steal the Bit segment would have been amazing if Kevin still worked at 1620 The Zone and it was his bits that were being stolen. I would pay money to see that. Kevin would be angry. That would be funny.
Kevin does not like when people take other people's bits when they're his bits.
I just think that Kevin would be not happy about that.
I
He would be happy about that.
very much want to organize for 2027 some sort of like retrospective look of the 2007 season that involves Severe and Kugler doing a show.
They're right in the middle of it.
Like that has to happen.
I think so. We did our 25-year anniversary thing last year, but we didn't really focus in on the 2007 football season. We probably should have. Alex,
Missed opportunity.
I have an opinion. There is nothing more American than the ref you suck chant. I've always hated that chant.
Lack of decorum.
It's just a dumb chant. Ref you suck. That's not a sentence. That's
I
not a
would
thing that people
rather
say.
that than the chance of BS or whatever.
No, BS is way better. That's a way cooler chant.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
Ref you suck. Who says that?
Many people.
Yeah, but like that's not even a sentence.
Well, you're directing it specifically to the individual that now knows.
There
that
should be a
everyone thinks that
comma
he
in
sucks.
there. Dear ref, comma, you suck.
So not only is it decorum that needs to be grammatically correct for you now.
BS is a sentence in and of itself.
Yeah.
Exclamation point. BS. It's way better. I don't like the ref you suck chant. Get more creative.
I'm surprised that you, Mr. Decorum, are okay with the vulgarity of the BS chant.
Oh, there's time and place
amongst
for everything.
all the children that are in place.
There's time and place for everything, Schaefer.
There is.
Not everything has to be all buttoned up.
That's good to know.
Time and place. Alan, I have an opinion. We should ban semi-trucks and force them to use trains and the rail system. I hate having to navigate a million semi-trucks driving on I-80. Well, I don't think that's possible.
No.
We're going to need the semi-trucks.
There's only going to be more.
we need to stand up for semi trucks.
Then
Unfortunately,
there will be self-driving semi trucks
in this area of the country that is of high transit
How
for
much-
the semi trucks, we just have to kind of deal with it.
How much money do you think Amazon is spending to try to fund self-driving semi trucks so they don't have to pay truck drivers who famously are people and are required to rest for the safety of others on the road?
Oh yeah.
If they can just circumvent that and then constantly have driverless semi trucks
You could bet that they're
taking things
working
everywhere,
they're working hard on that.
I bet he just put billions into this.
They're working very, very hard on it.
They would make so much money.
That is I have an opinion. Joey will select someone to win a pair of Ocon passes. So thank you for sending. I didn't get to many on the YouTube comments today, but I'll take a peruse there through the break. But we have to step aside because we have to talk to Brian Christopherson, who's coming up next on 1620 The Zone.
I'm a symbol man. I'm a symbol man. I'm a symbol man. I'm a symbol man.
Brian Christopherson, Husker 24/7 on Happer and Schaefer, 1620 The Zone.
And we are joined now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline by our good friend, Brian Christopherson from Husker 24/7 BC. Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. How are you guys?
Good. What's on the docket for this extended 4th of July weekend?
Well, I've got about 10 stories I want to write before getting in the car Sunday.
Nice.
For Minnesota. Our family has a cabin up there, and so I'll be there for about 5 days. So I will not. I just said that I won't be around next week. But that's the plan. It's that deal where I'm trying to pack a little or a lot into a little bit of time here before I get in a car.
Yeah, that's a good move. By the way.
As a legendary Omaha North soccer player, was that a red card?
Oh man, I was so ticked off about that. There's far greater experts than I, but I think just common sense, no matter how long you've watched the game, is like, no, there was not the intent there. It was an accidental deal where he just stepped on the guy. Yellow card at most, not even called on the field, potentially disrupts the momentum for a team for a whole tournament. Although the way this group is kind of connected, I still think they can win Monday, but that's a big blow. I mean, I was pretty optimistic they were still going to hang on last night and loved the way they competed after, but I kept thinking about Monday even as the last 30 minutes were playing out. So I was as ticked off as most Americans about it.
All right, BC, this is all of a sudden a kind of a loaded question, and we won't hold you to this, but as of right now, July 2nd, who takes the first running back rep coming up in the 2026 season for Nebraska?
Yeah, that's hard. I mean, at the moment, with just the status unclear on Mekhi Nelson with what happened this week, I think, if you're to lay odds, you'd have to say Isaiah Mosey maybe, just because he has a little bit more experience. Although I think, Jamal Rule has positioned himself through what he did since he arrived, coming with a chip on his shoulder. And then I think being just a willing student really from practice one, knowing how much he had to learn and just taking it step by step. He had a great spring. That's not oversell. That doesn't mean he's going to tear it up in the fall or anything, but just as far as giving himself a chance on the depth chart, he did everything he could do. But I'll say Mosey, he's a good guy to focus on because I really like his skill set and the possibilities for him at that position now in year two. He's added, like 20 pounds since he got here when he was recruited as a wide receiver. And, we know his dad, is assistant head coach now and is just a go-getter. And it's sort of, I think, in that family's DNA to like, okay, here's a challenge. I'm going to go meet it. And I get the sense Isaiah's kind of built that way. And so he's definitely, to me, one of the most intriguing Huskers that we're going to be watching when practices start on August 5th.
Brian, is there a player that, like right now, beginning of July, months before the season starts, that you're convinced is going to have kind of a breakout or sort of elevate from what we know them as coming into the 2026 season to how we feel about them after? Like, is there anyone that kind of comes to mind for you where you're that confident already that there's going to be a breakout for him?
I think this isn't a name from deep down in the bag at all. I'm pretty confident in Elijah Pritchett, though. I really think he's going. I'm not, he's got a lot of expectations, so that's why some people will be like, well, that's a stupid answer. You're picking like right at the top there. But I mean, he's going to be very high, of course, on our most indispensable Huskers list that we're doing, like we always have. And, he's at that left tackle spot. His value is understood, but I just felt like he really grew comfortable in his skin here in this program the last month or so of the season. And despite the team struggling, he was a player that was on the rise. And it seems like from everything we've been told, he's become more vocal, and he's just sort of, I think, taken another step this offseason. Now he's got to do it yet again, move up the ladder further here when we get to August. But I'm really pretty excited, and I would say confident in him. And this is another name, again, people would say, well, that's an easy one, but Donovan Jones to me is one of the top three guys on defense. And sometimes I don't think everybody thinks about it that way. I think he's going to be, he has that versatility to play anything in the secondary. I think he's going to be hugely important at that. It seems like the nickel spot where it was kind of settling at the end of spring. And given the way any defense works nowadays, but Rob Orch's defense is going to put a lot on his plate. And he's one of the most physical guys on that side of the ball. He's got some of the better testing numbers. And I just think after a year of experience, he's going to take off. And I've always said to Jameer Khan is arrow up, with this staff and what they're asking. We'll see what that translates to against the big boys in the Big Ten. But you talk about someone who had the best December through April or May. I think it was Jameer Khan going from special teams guy to, I think, a lead figure at one of the safety spots.
BC, I don't want you to give your list away, but you mentioned the indispensable Huskers, so you're going to, start on that journey here soon. And I was thinking about Pritchett. I mean, he's got to have a halfway decent argument to be number one
Yep.
on this list, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. He did. I think most people would consider him in at least their top three. Justin Evans is certainly going to be up there with his experience and the fact that it can be tough to find just such a reliable center. But yeah, Pritchett, aside from quarterback, one of the positions where you got to have that guy who is reliable, who's not going to get your QB killed, has a high motor and just gets after it. Yeah, he's definitely up there. Their tackle situation, I think, is in a little bit better space than it has been, but they still got to prove it. I mean, we'll see what Tree can do on the other side. And then, of course, Gunnar Gattulo's coming back, from rehabbing this spring. And I know they've always liked him. And so he can be a guy that adds to that mix. So there is perhaps a safety net behind Elijah Pritchett, which is somewhat what our list is about. It's not just about best player. It's sort of about the depth and the conversation of if this guy was, limping off the field, what's the amount of groaning in the stadium? And Pritchett, when you think about it that way, would have to be top three, I think.
We're what, 6-7 months in of since Nebraska. I regret doing that. That was not on purpose for those watching on camera as they do their annoying motion because of what I said. Howard, what have you heard so far on Corey Brown? I feel like we've spent so much time talking about Nebraska's offensive line, the transfers that they've added there, Jeep Wade and Lonnie Teasley, and there hasn't been near as much discussion, in part because the transfers weren't as high profile. I also think in part because Corey Brown has just kind of been operating and it just doesn't get talked about as much. What are your thoughts so far on what you've heard about Nebraska's defensive line coach and maybe what the outlook is for that group?
Yeah, I think the question is sort of the answer, because it was Corey Brown was when he was hired, it was I thought a very solid hire when you actually looked at his background, what he had recently done with Miami, Ohio. All the numbers were good about taking a player and developing over the course of 3 or 4 years, but it wasn't like a name, people knew about unless you're a real football junkie. And so there was that first part. And then when he came up and did his 10 to 15 minutes at the podium in the spring, I thought it was all like technique driven with him. It was like just like the nuts and bolts stuff is what we're going to get after. And, he understood the responsibility. Like it starts from the inside and works its way out. That's how we got to be a good defense. It's on us. We're going to wear that and we're going to grow into that, but it's got to be the little things and technique. And I think also teaching guys in this new scheme, I know Dave Tollefson's talked about it in an interview or two. A guy like Van Poppel, it's not just taking up a block, but it's now like getting off that block and finishing the play behind the line of scrimmage, actually producing those sort of TFLs and your own chaos and not just setting other people up. And so I think it can be a fun scheme for those guys that should excite them within that room. And I think they know they have a no-nonsense coach in Corey Brown. That's the way it seems. And they got to be good. I mean, they're probably still the biggest question mark until they're not. Jasir Whittington had an encouraging spring, it seemed like. He's got to prove it here. He's only played like, I think 300 snaps or something in his college career, so he's not the most experienced. Van Poppel's just got to be that guy. And then you're going to need, like, they didn't make our list, but they were just outside because they're important. It's Sua Lafotu, Owen Stoudemire. Those are big names. I mean, you got to have just reliability from those guys where you feel like you have like 5 deep on the inside where you can put them in the game, and it's just not some giant drop off a cliff.
No doubt. Brian Christopherson from Husker 24/7. All right, BC, good luck hammering out those stories, and enjoy your week off next week. You've earned it.
All right. Thanks a lot, guys.
Brian Christopherson from Husker 24/7 going up to the lake in Minnesota.
Gonna get some fishing in.
Oh, yeah. At the cabin.
At the cabin.
I'm excited for Brian, and I'm excited for us as a society. Next week is Lake Week.
Lake Week.
If you don't have a lake to go to, maybe you'll end up at a pool or something like that.
Wow. Are you going to try to do one of the shows from a lake when I'm gone?
Probably not. Then I have to, unless I could meet somebody at a lake to do the show with.
Okay.
That's possible.
Submit your resumes to be the lake of which Connor does a show from.
Lake of the Happen Schaefer.
That would be cool.
Could be fun. The official lake of Happer and Schaefer could be yours. All right. We'll take a break right at the hour after this on 1620 The Zone. Hey, look at this, a spare opinion from the 402. I have an opinion. Creighton has transitioned seamlessly to a new conference because they went from a mid-major conference to another mid-major conference. What do you think about that, Schaefer? Schaefer, did you send that text?
No, I did not. I mean, elements of it are true. Like, certainly.
Well, the element of they came from a mid-major conference.
Right. And then aspects of the Big East are not super competitive in things. I mean, they're not going to have top 25 baseball teams.
Their sport is basketball,
Right.
of which they are not a mid-major conference in.
This past year, they were closer to being a mid-major.
It doesn't change. It doesn't change. It doesn't change based on how good you are. It doesn't change based on what your Ken Pom rating is.
I'm just saying having one sport.
It is or isn't.
They have one sport where they would be considered a major conference, right?
It's sport.
One out of everything. So I think that's kind of the point that the text is making.
Well, I mean, if you want to say that baseball is a mid-major conference in the Big East, I'm going to have a very difficult time arguing with you. In fact, I won't. But I would also argue that the Big Ten is also a mid-major conference in baseball.
Is there any other sport where that would be true for that they're a high major? Like, so obviously UConn women's basketball pulls that thing up a ton.
Mhm.
Is there anybody else that's like a traditional top 25 basketball team out of the women?
The women? I mean, I guess the next most competitive is probably Creighton.
And then is soccer is that the most competitive?
Soccer is really pretty good.
That's why I went there, because
Yeah.
my assumption was that it was good. I had heard that it was relatively good.
But once again, I don't think that has any bearing on what's mid-major or not.
Well, if you have
Is
8 sports and 7 of them are in conferences that wouldn't be considered major for the sport of which they're playing, and then one of them does that one trump the 7?
But what? Okay, but do you understand what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't.
Sort of.
It's not this floating thing of like, if you had a down year, you're not major anymore.
Sure.
You just are or aren't.
So in general, across the entire sports landscape, is the Big East a major conference?
Yes.
Okay. And you're basing that entirely off of a singular sport.
Now, what they call it in football is they call them the power
Mhm.
conferences. What I tend to go by in the nomenclature for basketball is high major, which the Big East is a high major.
Yeah, I would agree with
The
that.
Big East is a high major conference.
As much as I would like to make jokes about it, I'm
Right.
not going to.
It is
because
obviously not a power conference because it doesn't have football.
Sure.
It did have football, and at which point it was a high major or a
Power
conference,
Right.
right? But it can't be because it doesn't have the option to be, I guess, anymore. And not that it would anyway. Even if some schools, I guess, in the Big East do have football, they're not. They're FCS schools. So I guess, like, if you're talking about it being a power conference, this is a great topic alert, by the way. If you're talking about it being a power conference, you're probably talking about football. It is not.
He referred to it as a mid-major.
A mid-major conference, which when you talk about mid-majors, usually what you're talking about is basketball.
Sure.
Right? And we all agree that they're not a mid-major in basketball.
But if we set
Done.
the basketball aside and talk about it as a conference and across all of the sports,
Maybe we need to come up with a
term?
a set of, look, it's Big T.
I honestly couldn't tell if you were doing this to distract me in the way that's a bird. The way your hand motion.
No,
it is Big T.
It is Big T. He's on his honeymoon.
There's an American flag,
He's lost and he looks like he's being kidnapped. But anyway,
He really does.
Like, we have to come up with a catch-all, maybe, because the terms that we use are specific to particular sports. In my opinion,
Yeah, kind of.
I have an opinion.
I mean, you can remove the football and the basketball element of it, and the SEC is still a major or power conference. The Big
Yes.
Ten is still a major or power, whatever we want to call it.
That is true. There's no
Yeah.
denying that those are high major conferences and power conferences.
Regardless
But if you
of the sport.
if you plucked out Big Ten baseball,
Yeah, that's a fair.
doesn't Is that a power conference?
Yeah, I mean, generally, no. I don't know what it looks like with the 4 because the Big Ten keeps adding new members. I don't know what it looks like with the new.
I mean, and to
look
your
of the
point about
conference.
being good and bad, it was certainly a lot better,
Yeah.
this year with the schools that hosted regionals the way they did. I don't know. Maybe that's a discussion that we need to have, a further July topic, creating the correct terminology to talk about conferences as a whole. We'll take a quick break, 9:00 hour. After this on 1620 The Zone. Well, we cover lots here on Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone and on 1620thezone.com. We cover all sorts of things, all sorts of voids now around the metro as well. There's a few things I want to hit during this segment. I want to get to some Mikan content. Schaefer wants to read me some things, and I want to update you on another hole in another place.
Is that place Omaha?
Yes.
Incredible.
But it's not in the ground, which is good.
It's
But
in a building.
there is this trend where cars have been hitting buildings at an astounding rate lately.
Has seemingly gone up.
So there was a building in the Benson area at 58th and Northwest Radial Highway yesterday morning, a U-Haul truck struck the building there at about 57th and Northwest Radial. The address matches the location of Eyebrow Microblading Specialists. They share the building with the former Benson Shoe Repair Shop. Now, why does that sound familiar? Because Benson Shoe Repair Shop, that building, was hit by a car 3 days ago.
What in the world?
The same building, shortly after 6 a.m. on Sunday, police were called to the shoe repair business after a vehicle hit the building. Said the driver was traveling along Maple Street and approached Northwest Radial Highway. As the man approached the highway, he accidentally accelerated and hit the center median and then crashed into the building. The same building hit twice by two separate cars in a matter of 3 days.
Poor Benson Shoe Repair.
I believe the most recent one, there was some sort of a medical emergency that the driver of the U-Haul truck was having or something like that. But think about that. Cars are crashing into buildings all the time, and we have the same building.
We're getting double up.
Getting crashed into twice in a matter of 3
incredible.
days. It's like getting struck by lightning multiple times in a week.
Seems unlikely
Think
to
about
happen.
all
and
the
then it does.
buildings and all the cars that don't get crashed into. This one twice, two cars, ridiculous. All right. Anyway, Schaefer, what do you have for me here?
All right, I want to ask you. So we've been talking about OCon, the convention happening at the Mid American Center, the MAC.
The MAC, back in the MAC, baby.
On July, I think 17th through the 19th.
through the 19th is correct.
We're giving away passes. I believe Joey has just given out one again today.
I think he's attempting to.
I'm
Yeah.
attempting to.
He is attempting. And so I wanted to know if you knew just off of their actual names who any of the people are that's coming in, because you'll know them from some stuff for sure.
Okay.
They have an interesting list here. The first one I'm going to give you.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Is there anyone from the show Impractical Jokers?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. Nope.
All right. Just making sure. I just figured this would be the right place for him.
A lot of these people have been coming here for years. So obviously
Okay.
this has been an event that has been good to them because these people that I'm going to start listing off, we'll just go into it. Do you know who Doug Jones is? I think this one is really tough, but he's one of their headliners.
Doug Jones.
Yes.
I'm afraid I don't know.
Very
about
generic name, generic looking guy. The reason that you don't know who he is, he's always wearing a mask. He's like,
Doug. Is he in the Blue Man Group?
No.
Oh.
I mean, he could be, but he's in like Star Trek Discovery, Hellboy, Hocus Pocus, What We Do in the Shadows. But he's always.
I
got a
have seen
mask
Hocus
on.
Pocus.
You're going to know several of these people then, potentially.
Oh.
Hocus Pocus, a common theme throughout.
All right, good.
So that's Doug Jones. Do you know who Rachel Lee Cook is?
I'm afraid I can't put the face to a name now.
She was in the movie She's All That. She was the title female character for that. Josie and the Pussycat Dolls when that was a movie.
Okay.
Or actually, it's Josie and the Pussycat.
Yeah, not
That's
dolls.
the comic.
No dolls.
That's a different actual thing.
That's right.
She is in a show called Perception. She's now in Robot Chicken and does voicing for different things. This is her 10th year coming back.
I don't think I've seen any of the things that you just mentioned, but
She's All That would be the one that probably had the best chance of seeing her in.
definitely.
What about Sergeant Slaughter?
I've definitely heard that as a thing.
WWE/WWF Hall of Famer. He's been around for 10 years at this event. He also was involved in a G.I. Joe show as well. Which
I
kinda
mean, he
makes sense.
looks like the G.I. Joe was based off of him.
Pretty much. What about Sean Patrick Flannery? Have you ever seen the movie Boondock Saints?
Nope.
Wow.
No, I haven't seen. Oh, where's my wall? What? Whose wall is this, Joey? We got to go back to the.
Hold on, let me switch it.
Yeah, we got to go back to the Happen Schaefer.
That's
wall.
a full wall.
Yeah, get that. Look at all those different colors. How does he know what's what on there?
Well, we're doing plenty of things, and I was thinking we were going to steal more bits again. That's why I have a different wall open.
There's always bits to steal. There's no doubt.
Anyways, Sean Patrick Flannery,
No, I haven't seen
Boondock Saints.
I haven't seen
A movie that many people your age, my age, our collective age have seen.
There's a Boondock Saints 2 and 3.
Yeah, I don't think you need to watch 2 or 3.
Okay.
Just watch the first one.
All right.
You-
Exciting.
I think you would enjoy it. I think you would find it fun.
What's the Boondock Saints about?
2 vigilante brothers
Vigilantes?
in Boston. They don't lamppost anyone that I can think of.
Sad.
They go after the mob because there's a misunderstanding and they don't like the crime that's happening in their neighborhood.
Okay.
All right, last one for you. Vanessa Shaw. Do you know that name? She is in Hocus Pocus.
I know Vanessa Hudgens
Not Vanessa Hutchins.
from High School Musical.
Nope, not her.
I don't think I know many other Vanessas.
Yep. And this is spelled Vinessa, so even spelled a little bit different than Vanessa. But she's in Hocus Pocus, Ladybugs, The Hills Have Eyes, 3:10 to Yuma, Ray Donovan. So there's like 3 or 4 people involved with Hocus Pocus that'll be there for the Ocon.
There's not a lot of Vanessas. I'm looking at I'm looking at a list of the most famous Vanessas right now, and there's just not. But Vanessa Hudgens is like by far number 1.
Is there a Vanessa Williams?
Yes.
That is one.
Yeah. She's on there. She's number 5 on this list.
Was Kobe's
Vanessas.
wife named Vanessa?
Correct. Nailed it.
Okay, so I've named all the Vanessas that I could.
That was number 1, number 4, and number 5 on the famous Vanessa's list that I'm looking at from famousbirthdays.com,
Okay,
which is
who's
a
2 and 3?
notoriously unreliable website. Vanessa Merrill, who is a YouTube star,
Don't
and
care.
Vanessa Morgan, who is a TV actress.
Okay, don't know her.
Not very many Vanessas out there. Okay, no, Vanessa Shaw, she was in Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
Nice. I have seen Hocus Pocus.
So yeah, those are some of your headliners. There's still a lot of other people who didn't get mentioned. They have comic guests from the actual comic industry, the
Let's
writers
go.
and the creators of comic books. And there are craft and cosplay guests and even more entertainment guests. There is one notable dropout though. Jimmy Walker.
The soccer coach from Creighton?
No.
Oh.
From Good Times.
Well.
Pretty sure he played the Dynamite guy, Jimmy Walker.
Dynamite?
Yeah, that guy.
All right.
He's
Gotcha.
unable to make
Okay. All right. Thank you, Schaefer. I appreciate that. Oh, it's knowledge from me. And I got to think about how many famous Vanessas there are, which apparently there's not many.
Never a bad information to have.
Although I did get a text that says Vanessa Del Rio.
Vanessa Del Rio.
Vanessa Del Rio?
Is it just Jack Del Rio's wife?
Oh, no. She is a retired actress, if you know what I mean. She's an actress. How dare this person send me that name and embarrass me on the radio? For the record, I've never heard of this person. Never heard of this person. Anyway, let's get to the Mike and content.
Mike and content.
We got content, folks.
Hold on.
Joey, are you okay?
Yep, I'm just figuring things out. There's been a little technical.
Joey
issue.
is not going into a vacation.
Joey has been
Relax.
busy for 3 hours.
I've been trying to troubleshoot things.
After
and
the
just,
Jaylen Brown trade,
I
his
know.
work life has gone to hell.
Ever since he got completely, his life was completely turned upside down last night by Brad Stevens. It's just all gone bad for Joey, sadly. But we do have some items to talk about because it is a topic alert day. After all, oh, you're actually going to play the open.
Yeah, let's
too.
might as well do it.
I made you some
Unsportsmanlike
content.
unsportsmanlike unsportsmanlike content. Unsportsmanlike content.
Content that's unsportsmanlike.
Okie dokie. Oh, I
Let's
lost my
go.
notes. Okay, it's July, and that's the perfect time for an all too early top 25 for college basketball. Hey,
What?
look,
Whoa. It
Jeff
is?
Borzello of ESPN has Nebraska holding steady at number 22 for several cycles now. When you look back at Nebraska's offseason for basketball, what's your confidence level the Huskers are in shape for another NCAA tournament run and or an upper third finish in the conference?
What a question. Great job by you, Joey.
I love reading.
You do it well.
What is an appropriate confidence percentage that I feel like Nebraska is going to be an NCAA tournament team next year? Do we just start there?
Yeah, so
is that a
if
good
you're going on a
barometer?
10 scale, I'm sitting at like a 7.5.
Yeah, I was going to say around 7.
I want to say 8, but I don't want to fully commit to 8 yet.
It's just hard to do. I like it, in this day, with their roster
Right.
and the rebuild and all these different things. Like the thing that I always come back to with them is I just think Fred is really good and they'll figure it out. But I don't think it's completely unfair to say that I don't think they're going to be as good as they were last year. But they have some good things that are coming back from them. Yeah, I think that'll probably be an NCAA tournament team.
Yeah,
I'm not too confident in it.
I'm confident they're going to be an NCAA tournament team. I have a little more skepticism that they can finish
top half of the league.
Yeah,
or,
like I don't
top
think they're
third.
getting the double bye or the triple bye, whatever it is.
Yeah,
Like
that is a big deal.
that would be surprising to me if they have another top 4 finish. But it's only because that conference is just sort of loaded and things really grouped well for them last year. They caught a couple games early in the year to get the wins against Illinois and Michigan State to kind of set them up. And I don't know that it'll all play out that way. I think they're going to be a tournament team. It seems more likely they're in that like 7 to 10 seed line range.
Yep.
Than certainly where we were discussing the real possibility that they could be like a 2 through a 4.
I think we're almost on the exact same page.
Unsurprising.
Let's check in on Dansby Swanson. The man has 5 home runs in the last 2 games, 3 more on Wednesday night, and has driven in 26 runs in the last 10 games. Did Mama McMasters save Dansby Swanson's career with this haircut suggestion?
He really hit 3 home runs last
He hit
night.
3 home runs after she was on the show telling us that his haircut that he sported on Tuesday led to 2 home runs. He hit 3 more. He has 5 home runs in the last 2 days.
Okay, that's very interesting.
This would not have popped up if she had not.
There is something to that, I think.
Yeah, the haircut.
I
For
didn't
Samson, it was the hair, and now the haircut.
I didn't know about the haircut or the home runs.
Yeah.
So I knew
Here we
he was hashtag so
Struggling.
hot right now.
Yeah.
But that is pretty crazy. And I don't think it's very much a coincidence.
Yeah. It's got to be the hair.
All of a sudden he turns it all the way around due to Matt's mom. Thanks, Matt's mom.
Guys, we forgot about the man, LeBron James. Now that he's officially available, where would you actually want him to end up for this upcoming season and with an alleged docuseries involved to track whatever happens?
Okay, so I like the report out there yesterday that was he is open to literally everyone. Send us your offers, basically, which is, I mean, great. It's kind of how you do free agency. But usually, LeBron goes into free agency with almost like a do not contact tag.
Sure. I don't think Olden State is happening.
You kind of know where he's going. I don't want Olden State to happen.
I agree.
For the reasons that we talked about the other day. What do I want, though?
So I was looking at a list.
We share our mutual love for him going back to Cleveland.
Yeah, I think for me that would be the number one.
That's a great arc for him. I'm down for that.
If he's not going to do that, then I'm fascinated about like some of the teams mentioned in this list were Denver. Like it'd be wild to see him.
Whoa. Denver hates
and
him.
Jokic playing together.
Yeah.
Like that would be nuts.
Yeah.
Plus the city of Denver having LeBron seems insane.
Does he want to? I just wonder what he wants to do basketball wise. Like where does he purport himself? He has to, as we were talking about with Trout the other day, his career trajectory is like he's probably going to be a 40 home run guy who hits like 220 for the rest of his life. Or, whenever he goes into the old mode of his career. LeBron's in the old mode of his career. What does he want to be? Because I think he could be a really good one of the things. Is he a scorer? Is he a distributor?
Facilitator.
Is he a big? Is he like a rebound? Like, I don't think it's that. I don't know.
I think like he could legitimately just go hunt triple doubles and just 10-10-10 everything.
So like a
across if he
point
wanted.
guard for Jokic is completely fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Alongside Murray, who obviously scores from the guard spot. That is an incredible thought.
Yeah. So you
I
have
don't know that Denver would Denver would have a lot of Facebook posts to delete, if you know what I mean. They hate that guy.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot wherever he ends up, if he hasn't played there before, that's going to be true.
Yeah.
So other ones that were mentioned was Minnesota.
Yeah.
Can't really see that.
I
I
don't
can't
want that.
see him like willingly choosing to go play for the Timberwolves.
How about
the Heat? The return to the Heat is a possibility.
How about the Sixers with Jaylen Brown?
I don't know if they can make that all work, can they?
Sure you can.
He's willing to take the minimum.
If he is, and he apparently is, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't really believe that. I think for me, it's Cleveland, but the Denver thing, I would love to see. I think that'd be a ton of fun.
I would like to. Here's what I
Spurs
really
fans are
want.
hoping that he wants to go play with Wemby.
Depending on it, like what franchise he ends up with is one thing. What I really want to see, I want to see him in another finals. I want to see him on a competitive basketball team, and I want to see him have the opportunity to win a championship. I want that one more time for him. I want him to ring chase a little bit. And so whatever he has to saddle up to be able to get that opportunity, I'm totally down for it for LeBron. That's why I don't want Golden State. That team would not be good.
Plus Draymond.
Plus, I wouldn't have to root for Draymond. I would just root against the entire thing. Then I have to root against Steph. That wouldn't be fun for anybody.
I've never rooted for or against Steph Curry.
Oh, Steph is awesome. You got to root for Steph.
Well, he's fine. Like I've never like actively been like, oh, I hope this goes well for Steph Curry.
Have you ever heard? Speaking of bit stealing, have you ever heard the Sipple Christmas Open on the Sportsmanlike Conduct?
Yes.
He says LeBron's the GOAT and Steph will choke, and he goes to his safe space.
Or safe space, yeah.
Because he's triggered. All right.
That one has held up very well.
So we're out of topics.
No, we have more.
Oh, the music went away.
Don't we have Max Olson coming up soon?
Joey, my man.
Joey's on it.
My producer. Well done by you.
Want to make
my
sure we
friend.
get to him and talk some latest college football headlines.
We were just rocking and rolling on this, and Joey's
I don't even know
like,
what the other questions were. I wrote this at 5 this morning.
Oh, maybe we got time for one more after Max.
That's true.
Yeah, one of them's related to your favorite baseball teams, and then another on the Kansas City Chiefs. That's pretty much
neither
it.
of these need to be gotten to.
Okay. All right. We'll take a break. Max Olson joins up next on 1620 The Zone. Welcome back. It is Thursday here on Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com. We're joined now on the Prairie Flower Casino Zone hotline by our good friend Max Olson from ESPN. Max, good morning. What's up?
Good morning.
What are you
Good to be
doing?
with you.
What are you doing this weekend? What's on the docket here?
Time with family and friends.
Yes.
And the new video games coming out later today.
That's what I was
So,
gonna. That's
we're getting our hands on that.
That's
You know that.
exactly where I was angling to. I said, I imagine, you're going to enjoy a little time off with family, but then mostly it's like, hey, mind if I sneak away for a couple hours and see what's going on over here?
Well, here's the fun thing. My 5-year-old son is very intrigued by this mascot mode and getting to play with 100 different mascots. So he, now I don't, this is a curious, we'll see what he is drawn to. But so far, he's very intrigued by Otto from Syracuse, the orange. He likes.
Makes sense.
He
That's
likes
an
to look
easy
at
one
that
for a
fella.
kid to be drawn into.
That's right.
That would be awesome, though.
The Hilltopper from Western Kentucky seems like another possibility.
That's right.
If you're a kid and like you're already interested, automatically you're like pre-programmed to be interested in mascots because they're insane looking like little blobs usually. Imagine them playing football. That has to be one of the most absurd sights ever for a 5-year-old.
And he's like, yeah, I've seen Herbie. That's all cool. What's this tree mascot that Stanford has? Like, tell me more about that. I think it's a good way to get them hooked on the oddities of this sport that we love so much.
If they're open for suggestions, Max, you should, if you agree with this, I guess, they should have it more as like a backyard baseball mode where you have to draft your team and all of these mascots have different skills that they're good at.
Oh.
And so then
I
you're
like that.
assembling a
I like that a
team of
lot.
different mascots playing together.
You get into a little bit of the, like, I'm not sure who to throw it to in that scenario, but I like that a lot. I don't know. You got to figure out like who's your all-time QB among all the mascots, right? That's tricky.
What a great built-in excuse for Max to be playing video games all weekend. This is tremendous.
Son, wake up. It's time to hit the stick.
Just enriching his son's life with video games that he already wants to
Absolutely.
play. It's fantastic.
That's what we're here to do.
All right. Max Olson from ESPN is with us. I have seen a story on ESPN today. 100 numbers, 100 debates. The best number at, the best player for each number in college football history. And would you look at number 0, the very first number, with a local guy? Now, he ended up at Notre Dame, Xavier Watts, who is a product of Omaha Burke. This got my attention right away when I immediately scrolled to number 15, because I feel like that is one of the more like consequential numbers. We think about Tommy Frazier around here, and the award went to Tim Tebow, which I do think is probably appropriate in the end. Any other debates
never heard of it? I don't know about all that.
Any other debates you were interested in when this was sort of being thought of?
Okay, this is a good one, especially for guys our age. So I'm curious what you guys think. One of my colleagues, Eli Letterman, he was assigned number 5, and the assumption there is that it should be Reggie Bush.
That was the first one for me.
He went through
Very
the numbers.
first game.
He went through the numbers and concluded that Darren McFadden had a better career than Reggie Bush. What do you think?
Whoa. I mean, Darren McFadden was pretty legendary. 5 is a tough one now that you think about it.
Well, look at the names in there.
Christian
LT.
McCaffrey and LaDainian Tomlinson. Like, the first one was pretty obviously Reggie for me, but I am we are all of a certain age, I think.
Is it like production versus like highlights in terms of memory? Because I don't remember Reggie Bush having insane stats, but I remember like the Fresno
him
State
jumping
run
over people.
and like just the highlights of his career way more than I remember Darren McFadden's just like sheer highlights. But I know he produced and he also played with Hillis.
We remember Darren McFadden had all these great teammates and all this kind of stuff. And like Reggie Bush is just like the more iconic one. So like you can see why people kind of go to that right away. Another one that was a little curious is, would you go Peyton Manning or Trevor Lawrence at 16? Because Trevor didn't win a Heisman, but boy, he had a pretty special career when you look back on it.
I know. Yeah. I mean, like, Trevor Lawrence, it's interesting because he was supposed to be this guy. He was supposed to be the best guy in college football the entire time he was there. And he kind of like was, and maybe didn't exactly end up getting the credit for it at the end because, didn't end up walking away with enough trophies, I suppose. I don't know what it was.
He got one, but then of course his last year of college was the 2020 year. So that, they made the Final Four that year, but didn't go all the way. Yeah. It's, pretty good one on him. Yeah, it was fun exercise. I had a portion of those ones, and anybody else that's just like, I think they got it wrong. I'm trying to think.
Do you think? Wait, hold on. Do you think of Trevor Lawrence as is Trevor Lawrence a legendary college football player?
No,
I mean,
I don't think of Peyton
I
Manning
think
as a
in- I
legendary
think in
college
his-
football
I
player
think in
either.
his time he was, but like, I think you can also look back and say, like, man, ETN was probably the best running back in the country for that little period of time too, and like, certainly Clemson really had that thing rolling and had great D lines and a lot of support and stuff like that. But I mean, and I think the year he won, correct me if I'm wrong, the year he won the national title, I think that was against Tua when Tua was injured and stuff like that, but it was a blowout. But like all-time 16, I don't know. I think Peyton is probably getting a lot of credit for the NFL career and some strong credit for his time in Tennessee.
Were there anybody when you kind of went through this where you were just like, oh, I had no idea. Like I was just scrolling through briefly, had no idea Michael Irvin wore number 47.
That is crazy. Yes. And it's also like, it also gives you an excuse. And I was dealing with the guys like in the teens and early 20s. It does give you an excuse to like kind of go through like and read about like the career of like Niall Kinnick at Iowa and some of these guys where it's like the name and then you read about like what they did and like the fact he was just like on the field for like every single play there is pretty nuts. And then also like got the opportunity to go back and read through like Barry Sanders and just his final season, how many NCAA records he broke and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it's fun to remember some dudes.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of, it's funny. I was thinking about it. I asked you the Trevor Lawrence question. You think about like who does meet the threshold of legends of college football. It's a really, it's a really tough bar to, I think, attain, but there are a lot of them, that ended up making this list. The guy that popped out to me and what I think this is probably an age thing, it's just, if you are a certain age, you love the guys that were in college football when you were 13 years old or something.
You're thinking Taylor Martinez at number 3.
He was absolutely robbed at number 3. I can't believe they put Carson Palmer there. But no, I think of college football and I think of a guy like Vince Young. And I'm just like, yep, he had the epic season. He had the epic game. He had all those. I mean, that 2005 national championship game was absolutely absurd. And that's like the quintessential college football player I think of my life. I want to like, I think that would be the case for me.
Yeah. Well, just think about what you said with Vince Young, and then you would say none of that about Trevor Lawrence. They both won national championships, but like, I can't think of a single major, amazing Trevor Lawrence moment, but I can think of a few from Vince Young.
But Max, it's
who got the number 1 spot? Remind me, Happer.
The number 1.
Number 10 spot.
It was Vince Young.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Over RG3, like, Troy Smith, Steve Slate.
Sure. I think Vince Young for our like age group, our very specific age group, is just like one of those guys that is unforgettable because like I think we were all kind of in that same time where we like you stayed up late watching that Rose Bowl against USC and you're just like, okay, this guy's just like the greatest player you've ever seen, and like you just assume he's gonna just completely take over the NFL and stuff. So man, I'm totally with you. Like if you go back, that's one of those kind of like sneaky ones, like everyone jokes about going back and watching like Tavon Austin highlights and stuff, but like if you go watch like Vince Young, best of Vince Young at Texas, it's pretty insane.
That is a great point. I think that's my answer. I think that's and it's about probably what age you were, and we're all kind of in that right period of time just for that. And that was like a moment in time in college football too. We were coming off the USC, we're in the USC dynasty thing.
Yeah, this Pete Carroll dynasty, absolutely.
Yeah. And so I don't know. That's what I always think of. Like if there was a quintessential college football game that I think of in my life, it's that one. It's the Rose Bowl between those two.
And it just lines up
Yeah.
perfectly with the age.
I
and
agree, and
everything,
it's like you got no rooting interest in it, but you're just like completely sucked in, and you're like, wow, I just like witnessed something like really special. Like that's the kind of stuff that is probably like feeds into like why we do what we do for a living.
A classic Big Ten SEC championship match. So Max, we were talking about, we've talked a couple of times this week because the calendar flips over to July 1 and it's a new year for academics and colleges and athletics and all of it. I am kind of interested because we've talked a little about realignment and how obviously Nebraska adjusted 15 years ago and how that's gone and some of the other local schools. When you look at the potential for future realignment, what seems more likely to you? That the ACC still exists in its current structure in a few years, or that is the conference that's about to get picked apart because you already have teams that are looking to leave it?
Ooh, that's a really good question. And I feel like that one has been kind of simmering on the back burner here for, I don't know, maybe like a year or so, amid, just the plethora of other problems going on in college athletics. But yeah, I mean, I think we're certainly, as we go through this transitional period and you've got these programs like Miami, like Clemson, like Florida State, that are trying to not just afford all of this stuff, but then like try to keep up with the SEC. That like the financials of this stuff and the angst of all that, I just think it's going to keep getting worse and worse. And of course, like Jim Phillips has tried to like smooth some of the stuff over and set up like unequal revenue sharing and stuff like that, and really try to reward the people at the top of the conference. But I just think that tension is going to get more and more obvious as we go through the rest of this decade. So yeah, I think that's probably like where you'd start that conversation. And maybe that's because to some extent, like the Big 12 doesn't have a ton of like brands that everybody's fighting over too. So there's sort of like, there are academic institutions and there are like powerhouse programs, and not just football, but basketball too, that people would look at the ACC and be like, yeah, I mean, it's time to talk about it again. And ultimately, like when TV deals are up, that's always the time to talk about it again. And so
we're not far away.
Obviously the ACC deal, extends into the next decade. But I think that conversation for the Big Ten and the SEC and trying to like jockey for like where the power league, if they're not conspiring together, then yeah, like I think that conversation picks up again.
Aren't we only like 3 years away from the Big Ten's deal coming up again?
That sounds right.
I think it's the end of the decade, right?
Yeah. Do you guys like? I'm sort of the point where we've been pushed so far in this stuff, though, that I kind of just want to see preservation for as long as possible. Like, do you guys want to see a world where Nebraska is playing at North Carolina and things like that?
No.
Like, is that actually like
no.
at all exciting?
I'm done with the fantasy football of the moving the team, but I've been done with it since it started. So I don't know, but I'm probably the wrong person to ask.
I'm with you on that.
It like North Carolina doesn't come to mind, but if they were in the same conference with, a Notre Dame or a Miami or whatever, and you have those helmets, then sure, like there's always interest in that. But I'm also sort of the mindset, like leave it as it is, leave it as a 12-team playoff and let things go for a decade and then reassess. But that never happens.
No, by the end of the decade, it'll be probably a 64-team playoff, and we'll all just be like, yeah, that made sense at the time.
Yeah, sure. Whatever works. All right, Max, we'll let you go. Thanks for dropping by as always. Enjoy your video game weekend and whatever else comes your way.
Hey, thanks, fellas. Take care.
That is Max Olson from ESPN. So he mentioned this sort of idea where, I've always referred to it as the big red button, basically where teams get mad because they're getting the same equal share from their league, even though they're pulling a lot of the weight in terms of their TV deal. And in the big conferences, this is sort of, at least at this moment, there's no precedent for the way things are right now to change. I want to mention something that I saw come across yesterday involving the Mountain West. We'll do that when we come back and round things out here on a Thursday on Happer and Schaefer on 1620 The Zone.
When you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off.
Crust is good on your pizza, not your ass.
I will eat your ass first.
He's tough as a Woolworth steak.
And then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down. All right. And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap.
I'm ready to hang them up, gut them, and skin them, and chop them up. You know what? I'm ready. My daughters aren't starving to death. I'll eat my neighbors.
And we're going to get up, and then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you.
Cliff, what are you going to take away as your best memory from playing basketball at Boston College?
Probably just like going out to eat.
Probably just going out to eat. Honestly, that dude from Boston College was right. One of the best parts of being with a team ever is just going out to eat. He is so right about that.
Never enjoy Fazoli's the same way that we would have it after a game at Grand Island or Carnegie.
It's going out to eat. It's staying in a hotel. And the games are just the games, you know. They're kind of memorable depending on what happens in the game.
The dugout conversations often were more memorable than the game.
The nonsense that people on the team got into, that's what it's all about. But today it's all about lunch for us.
It is.
I don't know what I'm going to have for lunch. It feels like the kind of day where I text my wife before I leave. I say, would you like me to pick something up?
That's what I'm going to do.
On the way home. And then she
Look
says,
at you.
yes. And then I'll have to figure out what that's going to be.
That's always a tough topic.
But
what to eat?
Mine is going to be, hey, is there something in the freezer that you want to have for lunch, or should I stop somewhere? And I never know. We've got some ravioli, fried ravioli.
You should stop somewhere.
It's been a lunch thing for us lately.
It's good though.
It is very good.
And it goes along with this song.
It does.
It does.
But I don't know.
Very touching.
We're in the very, very similar boat. I thought you had another question for us that we were going to get to.
I do. It's about the Mountain West, but then I heard that
open.
I got sidetracked. By the way, Eric in Milwaukee, he says, I'm all here for the H&S bit stealing bit, and I have no problem with what's for dinner / lunch as a segment, but I absolutely hate parts of the what's for lunch / dinner open. Eric?
Now, did you send this?
Handshake meme. Too much conversation about eating stuff in the open to what's for dinner.
Behind the scenes, look, this has been a conversation leading into this segment.
Joey has wanted to fire it off all week. And I said, I don't want to hear it more than once.
Because of the crust and everything.
And the ass. That's what it's all about. And I said, okay, fine. One time.
You can do it on
I gave him the one time, and Joey was very, very happy.
He had such a big smile on his face.
There, it's now gone from the wall, so you don't have to see it. You don't have to see it.
Although
as we are wrapping up it
almost redeems itself at the end with the what do you remember about Boston College thing. I mean, that's an objectively great moment.
Too much Dan Campbell for my liking.
Eric in Milwaukee says, yes, Happer, that's what I hate. Thank you. Some people care about decorum still. And it's great to see. It's great to see. Well, I don't know. The Mountain West topic feels mildly inappropriate at this point. But so there was this thing that the new Mountain West, there's a new Mountain West because all the Mountain West teams went to the Pac-12 yesterday.
Sure.
And so
not all of them, but a lot of them.
Basically. So on Wednesday, the conference announced it is partnering with streaming technology company Kiswa to launch a direct-to-consumer streaming service, MW Plus, that will provide live coverage of Mountain West events that are not available via one of the conference's linear broadcast partners. But this isn't just any old college sports streamer. MW Plus is designed to reward schools that generate the most subscriptions for the platform. It's basically like getting paid off of YouTube views and stuff like that. Whoever gets the most views gets the most money out of the common share at the end of the day, which is sort of a fascinating, now it doesn't make up for the majority of the payouts from the league. Obviously that is still tied to linear television, but your payouts could be shifted based on, and I don't know how significantly, maybe mildly significantly, based on how many people watch your stuff on Mountain West Plus, which is kind of it's an eat what you kill type of thing.
Feels like North Dakota State is going to run away with.
They're going to crush everybody. Yes.
Because it's their first year in, everyone's going to get signed up for Mountain West Plus.
If you so this is what I was thinking of last night. If you took football, men's and women's basketball out of the picture entirely. Let's just say all those games are on linear television, and you put everything else on, let's just say ESPN Plus with professional broadcasters and things of that nature. How much would Nebraska crush everybody else in the league on views?
Just because of volleyball
and subscriptions,
volleyball, baseball, softball.
Yeah, I mean, right away.
Right? We're only team sports here.
I don't know what
like if you had like wrestling.
Yeah, put wrestling on there.
Yeah, I think Nebraska would be very high.
I mean, they'd be the best in the league by far.
I think volleyball would have the most singular views out of any other thing possible there, and I don't know that there's a close second.
Yeah,
like,
it would get to the point where ESPN would be like, "Wow, this is the greatest thing this is the best business deal we've ever done."
Good thing we're still going to put their volleyball tournament and play it at 10 a.m. on a Wednesday.
Great thing we're going to have all of our other Olympic sports content on BTN Plus, famously full of 4-year-old broadcasters who don't get paid.
Well, we're going to show you lacrosse over and over and over.
So weird. There's in this day and age where we're talking about money and thinking about money and pinching pennies and stuff like that, there's a pretty good chunk of money that
BTN needs to be paying the student
just sitting there. I think they do.
Okay,
I don't think it's much, but they do.
As long as they're getting paid.
There's money that's available. More people would sign up for the service if it was good. It's not good.
It's not good.
There you go. There's my rant gong here on this Thursday. All right, that's going to do it for us today. If you miss anything, 1620thezone.com is where you can find it. Let's do a crossover, send you into the weekend after this.